afternoon to you. Welcome to another fantastic, scintillating edition of today's Sports Live, reaching you from the studios of Premium News Talk and Sports Radio Station. Today, 95.1 FM. I am your Superman in the world of sports, the man who can never leave football for snowball. My name is Wisdom Obina. Go call your friends, call your enemies. It's time for another interesting discussion, analysis, stories, reports, updates. Everything you need to know going on in the world of football on the menu this afternoon. But I'm not alone in the building. I've got with me Ezine Oti. Ezine, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon to you, Superman. Good afternoon to you, our lovely listeners out there. Superman, today is a great day. You just get to see Germany, Portugal. Then I want to tell you, life itself is a game of inches. You know, yesterday, again, the game England against Scotland, just some inches away, this story would have been different. And that was John Stones' header. That would have just changed the story for England. And you want to talk about the Scotland side. If that goal from Dykes was not removed by Reece James, everything would have been different. We'd have seen Scotland celebrating their first victory in Wembley, but that didn't happen. But it's great to be here. The Euros has actually made this period very, very fantastic and interesting to all of us, the sport lovers out there. It's great to be here to talk about sports.
Absolutely, the razzmatazz of Euro 2020, and not forgetting. Like the song you're hearing on the background, that's the theme song, official theme song of Copa America 2021. Definitely going to be on the menu today also. I mean, we saw Argentina, the Alba Celeste, through that man, El Messias, Lionel Messi getting an assist as Gonzalez found a way to help them get a win. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more. And like she mentioned, it's going to be a game of decades, years, and even generations. We'll talk about the game between France and Germany today. Trust me, no year would pass without one person saying, I remember, as long as it's in our lifetime, at least the next 100 years, when Germany played France, Portugal played Germany. We had Ronaldo then. We had a Joachim Löw that was about retiring. You know, we had Serge Gnabry, a very fine Bayern side at the point. You know, a lot of permutations and things going on. I'm sure it was the same story too the day France took on Germany. Sorry for Portugal. Sorry for the German side. Okay, France took on Germany. Then they faced France the first game. They're facing Portugal the next game. And they will have to wait till the last day to face a team people would call relatively easy to beat, the Hungarian side. All right, that's not the only thing we'll be talking about. We'll talk Euro 2020. We'll talk Copa America. Who wins Copa America? Do you think Lionel Messi can do something? You know, he's come out to, you know, rally the support of the Argentines and, of course, the team, galvanize their spirit and push them, drive them, galvanize the team to see that they actually pick this one. Do you think it's something they can get? Is there still some fire left in Jose Mourinho? Well, the man is now the Roma boss, and he said for him to choose the Roma job, it was because they reignited his fire and interest in football. And we're asking, is there still the specialty that is left in the special one? And does he still have those flavors that made him at some point the greatest coach of his day, and of, maybe you want to say, the best coaches of some years in his career? At that point, at his peak, he didn't have a match at that level until we had Pep Guardiola coming up immediately to rival the man. We thought it was going to be a Mourinho domination for the next maybe 20, 30 years or 40 years. But somehow Pep came up. We'll be talking about Mourinho. You think there's still some fire left in Jose Mourinho? You would also let us know. The coaching battle at Tottenham. Now, Mourinho left Tottenham. Who do you think the cap would fit best? Or who would be able to wear the shoes left by Jose Mourinho and the one designed or redesigned by Daniel Levy? He's not a very easy man to work with, I tell you. All right? Real Madrid and the choice of rejecting a bid for Rafael Varane. That would also be on the menu when we look at the big stories making the rounds when it comes to the transfers this past week. And of course, the breaking stories also. So be sure you get the latest transfer updates covering every club, major club from England to Spain to Italy to Germany to even France. We've got you covered. All right. Real Madrid rejecting a bid from Manchester United for Rafael Varane, plus letting Ramos leave for free. Who does that? Real Madrid. They actually
contract has ended. They
actually,
do you want to put money
it's
inside?
for free. They could have sold him last year, but don't worry, we'll get there and we'll look at the different pros and cons on that issue. And like I said, total, you want to say, display of all the debates going on behind the scene when it comes to transfers. Who is going where? We'll be letting you know. All right, but first, we would not be starting with Copa America, but Euro 2020.
I hardly know you, can I confess? I feel your heart beating in my chest. If you come with me, tonight is gonna be the one. 'Cause you faith and no fear for the fight. You pull hope from defeat in the night. There's an image of you in my mind. Could be mad, but you might just be right. We are the people we've been waiting for. Out of the ruins of hate and war. Army of love that's never seen before. We are the people we've been waiting for. We are the people of the open hand.
All right, I don't know which of the teams you were waiting for, but we waited for Euro 2020. It never came last year because the world was at war. We were at war against COVID-19. And that's why that song is really interesting and sounds so nice to my ears listening to the lyrics. All right, we were really at war. We lost thousands of lives, across different countries of the earth. Europe not being any different, all right? We couldn't play games. Football was suspended. And for once, we all felt like it was going to be the end, okay? It was going to be the end where maybe for the next 30, 40 years, we'd have to redesign everything. Maybe no more fans anymore. Some people were saying maybe that's why the phones and everything, the tech gadgets were invented for this time. So we'll probably not be watching games because it was really torrid, all right? So, but we'll be looking at, we're not going to be looking at the past. It's not yet totally gone. We still have COVID, but then again, we have seen fans return to the stadium, and Euro 2020 is no exception. So a little of those beats, and we'll quickly start with the results we had yesterday, and of course the big games to expect today, including that big one between France and Hungary, and of course the one between Portugal and Germany.
Better than we did before. We are the people we've been waiting for. You faith and no fear for the fight. You pull hope from defeat in the night. There's an image of you in my mind. Could be mad, but you might just be right. We are the people we've been waiting for. Out of the ruins of hate and war. Army of love that's never seen before. We are the people we've been waiting for. We are the people of the open hand. The streets of Dublin to Amsterdam. We'll build it better than we did before. We are the people we've been waiting for.
All right, and enough of the talk. Let's quickly get into the stories and discussions proper. All right, so we'll start off first. Let me ask you, Izine, which game was the most fascinating or interesting for you this week? from the Euros now, basically. We saw different matches, all right? And I know you followed a lot of them greatly, okay? So which one was the most interesting, or maybe the result tickled your fancy?
I think I want to go with the one of Belgium versus Austria. That game gave us I think 5 goals. It was a 3-2 win for the Belgium side, in which Kevin De Bruyne came back after the injury sustained during the Champions League final. It lived up to expectation. You want to see the kind of play it came. It gave us one of the earliest goals in the tournament. I think that was the game for the week for me. And you want to talk about Italy too. 6 goals unreplied. Wisdom. It's no mean feat. Before the Euro started, we tipped Italy, but we didn't really have so much confidence in them. But somehow they are proving us wrong. They are rewriting their own story, not conceding any goal. They've scored 6 and no goals conceded for the Italian side. Then you want to remember, I think the game yesterday, England and versus Scotland. I didn't expect it to be done. I followed that game from start to finish. I think sometimes when we say this thing, we don't actually give the kind of commendations we are supposed to. The Scottish side, they were able to hold their own. It's not that they didn't just sit back, they didn't really just defend, but they gave England a fight.
We'll come to the analysis.
I think that game too was part of it, but I want to go for the Belgium and Austria game.
We'll come to the analysis, I tell you. All right, just in case you missed it, we had let's start from Thursday, so it will be pretty much easy for you to follow up in case you've missed any of those games from the Euros. All right, we're starting from the Euros today. All right, Denmark, they lost to Belgium 2-1. The Belgian side ran out winners, and you can't have a Belgian game without Romelu Lukaku, but he didn't score on that particular day. It was Thorgan Hazard who assisted, who scored, assisted by Kevin De Bruyne. While Kevin De Bruyne scored the second goal, assisted by Eden Hazard. So the two Hazards and Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne 1 assist and 1 goal. Eden Hazard, and by the way, Kevin De Bruyne and Eden Hazard came in as substitutes in that game. I saw that one. They did not start, so the Danish side, I don't want to say they took advantage, but it is what it is. They took advantage of it, and the coach had to quickly bring in Eden Hazard in the 59th minute, as much as also bringing in KDB. KDB came in for Dries Mertens immediately. They started the second half, and the rest, they say, is history. They came back to win that game 2-1. It ended. All right, so that was one game. In case you missed it, that was one interesting one. Yusuf Paulsen did give them an early lead in the second minute, and I was thinking, okay, the power of Eriksen. Maybe I told them, go out there and win for me, and they almost did it. But there's so much you can do with motivation. You would need potential and preparation and quality. All right, so in Group C, okay, quickly before we move to Group C, we'll look at each group. Okay, so what we'll do is first let's quickly wrap up with the games. Then we'll get to the groups. Look at who is where, what is where, or maybe. What do you think we should do? Let's just start from Group A. Let's run through the results. Then we'll go to the groups. Okay, so that game was in Group B. Denmark, Belgium, 2-1 in favor of the Belgians. In Group C, we had the Ukrainians. They were up against North Macedonia. I was just thinking and calculating. Maybe the Macedonians, they came here. I won't say by chance, but nobody gave them a chance. All right, but somehow the likes of Ezgan Alioski of Leeds United propelled his team and his colleagues, and they were able to get to the tournament. So it was Andrei Yarmolenko who got the opening goal for them. Roman Yaremchuk did get the second for the Ukrainians before Ezgan Alioski. He missed from the spot, then did finally get it right, and it was 2-1 in favor of the Ukrainians. By the way, Alioski, they're still begging him to stay in Leeds United. I hear the man wants to leave, but he's a very, very fine player from the left back now most times. It depends on where he operates from, the wings and even the wing back position and all that. Netherlands, well, a lot of people are not taking them seriously, but it doesn't matter what you think. They are getting it right, at least against Austria. They did it. Memphis Depay from the penalty spot and Denzel Dumfries made it 2-0 in favor of the Dutch side as they beat David Alaba and his brothers right there. 2-0. It ended in favor of Netherlands. All right. And yesterday, we had games also, which was the one is in a reference to the Croatia. They were up against Czech Republic and it ended 1-1. And you ask yourself, where is the fire we saw at the World Cup in 2018? Ivan Perisic did manage to equalize. They were even down. Czech Republic through Patrick Schick. They got the goal from the penalty spot though in the first half before Ivan Perisic at the restart of the second half made it 1-1, assisted right there by Andrej Kramaric. All right, so it's 1-1, or it was 1-1 between Croatia and Czech Republic. England, the English guys, well, they did not make it count against their very close neighbors and brothers. They share the same kingdom together now, the United Kingdom. England 0, Scotland 0. And there's nothing to discuss about or report there outside the questions I would be asking the guys. So that was how it ended yesterday. And quickly, I would start with you, Ezine. You were talking about that England-Scotland game. Just let's delve into it. Harry Kane, I mean, it's fascinating to know that they are not actually getting it right, because we were thinking, I mean, against Scotland, I know it's you want to say it's just one game, but they went into the contest as favourites, particularly given the two teams' contrasting fortunes on match day one. But Scotland produced more like a spirited performance to secure a point from what was the first goalless match between the old rivals in 33 meetings at Wembley. And Scotland had more clear chances than England in a grueling, albeit unspectacular first half, though the best opportunity came the way of John Stones, who nodded onto the right. All right? So, Queen, quickly, Ezine rather, what happened to one of the tourney's favourites, England?
You want to say, coming into this tournament, the Euros 2020, you actually gave England a chance with the array of squad they actually possess. When it comes to the forward line, they have Harry Kane. You still have
Raheem Sterling.
You have Raheem Sterling. You had Marcus Rashford. You have Sancho. So then Sancho is there. You also have Grealish. I just felt
Mason Mount.
I think England were being too conservative first in the game yesterday. You starting Calvin Phillips together with, I'm trying to remember the other,
Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice.
Yes, and Declan Rice, together, when you not having a creative midfielder at that pack. I think, and that was where Southgate actually got it wrong. This is the Scotland side. I think he was too conservative. He didn't want to actually get the blame. Most times we've caught for his head. We've actually wondered how he has actually, his performance with the English side. I think England, they were too conservative, and kind of, I think they underrated the Scottish side. You have to give credit to Steve Clarkson. They actually gave his fight yesterday. All to the, I think you want to credit Andy Robinson. He was a leader. He showed leadership quality yesterday. Sure. He actually made sure that the England side didn't really have so much to say when it comes to the ball. Then you want to talk about the youngster Billy Gilmore of Chelsea, who is from Scots. He actually did very well yesterday. He was even the man of the match. The boy was able to, I think at some point, was able to silence a Mason Mount. He didn't give him so much chance in the game. I think Scotland, they actually gave a say yesterday. You won't say their first game they lost convincingly, but this other time they gave a fight, and which also give them hope when it comes to the next qualifiers, because if you look at the table, England are second. The first is the Czech, which has 4 points, but they have a higher goal difference than England. Then you want to call the Scottish side, who are, although they're bottom against them, the Croatian side already have 1 goal to their names. But the thing, this gives them a lifeline. There could be a possibility is that they could actually end up as best losers, or something could actually happen in the final game of the tournament. So I no one gave them that stand. I saw that game. I couldn't believe it. I think they had more of the clinical opportunity.
Yeah, they did.
When it comes to the game on target, they had more goals to go in. Even I think Adams, actually, that player, he was actually wasteful yesterday. day. If not, it would have been a different story. You want to say yes, England had the first chance in which John Stones, I think that header sometimes that wisdom, I think some inches actually makes the difference. That if it had entered that, I think England would have had a better game. But we know that England has not actually been that high scoring side. So at a point, I just expected it's going to be a 1-0 victory for the Englishmen, but it didn't actually happen that way. We saw a different game. You had a compact Scotland side. They moved as a team. They retracted back as a team. They made sure they didn't give any England player a chance to actually thrive so well. Then I think Southgate also got it wrong when he actually substituted Phil Foden instead of moving. I think he was supposed to actually remove Sterling, not moving Foden for Grealish, because Foden gave them a lot of pace. He moved the ball faster when it came to that decision. And I think sometimes he thinks too much. It takes too much time before he actually is able to make those decisions. How will you have a Jadon Sancho on the bench? You had this Grealish there. At least I think he needed
you had Rashford.
Let's leave. I think Rashford came in, but I think he brought them later when it didn't really count so much. I was expecting him to make those changes at the beginning of the second half, knowing that it was glaring in the first half to show that England lacked that creativity. We want to talk about Harry Kane. He has struggled in this tournament. You might say maybe it's this kind of things happens because those strikers who are well known in the team, most times the players in the opponent, they actually know that they have to mark this man. They always do that. It happens. But I expected him to actually tweak something a little. I expected Southgate to do something different, because when it comes to the countries that have the best of stars, you want to rate England, they'll be among the top 3, if not the top 4. They are there. They had you want to say maybe they're lacking leadership at some point, but still they didn't give them a good run. They didn't give a good fight yesterday. The Scottish side, they were more compact. For the Scottish men, it was like a win for them. After that game, they celebrated it because no one gave them a chance against England. They actually outplayed. They did so well in the game, and credit to them. If not for some of the I think lack of experience and lack of the names that were supposed to give them those goals, would have seen England actually losing that game yesterday.
All right. Joining us is Reliable Reliance. Reliance, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to your wisdom. It's safe to say that the English side were as clueless. The players on the field of play were as clueless as the manager, Gareth Southgate. In fact, they were basically passing the ball around. No one was biting. No one was doing anything. Harry Kane was on a world of his own. There was no connection whatsoever between Mason Mount, Phil Foden, Raheem Sterling, and Harry Kane. They left. It was like Harry Kane was left hanging to dry, because the supplies were not coming to the English side. So. To the man now. So basically what they were doing is pass the ball around. No one was biting. I might want to excuse Phil Foden, because these days he plays more of a false 9 with the Manchester City. So maybe he's not so used to having a target man in front of him, because you were looking for the connection, but he couldn't find it, and they just move around. And again, for Gareth Southgate, it's in as much as I wasn't so surprised, because I know that England will always be England. Dating back to when I started following the English national team, they've always had the array of stars, but to galvanize them and make them play as a team is always a difficulty. Mason Mount, an individual player, fantastic for Chelsea under Frank Lampard, and Thomas Tuchel. Reece James, beautiful defender as a wing back as well. So they have a lot of stars. That's always been like that for the English side, but galvanize them to get the result as a team has always been the difficulties. But again, that being said, like Ezinet mentioned, you needed creativity. Yeah. Now, okay, if you don't want to create, how about doing the crosses? Because apparently, Billy Gilmore and Kieran Tierney worked together to ensure that the middle of the park was sealed. So how about doing the crosses from the wing? If that wasn't working, Harry Kane is a player that is good in hold up play and then maybe create the chances, but that didn't happen. Okay, now you needed a goal. Reece James is a fantastic player, no doubt. Look, sure, well, he has had let's say a beautiful season with Manchester United. The last time he played for the English side, it was I think 2014. So about 7 years without wearing the English national team jersey, Luke Shaw. But with recent form under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, maybe that gave the man the reason for the call up. But at this point, coming into the second half, he needed goals. These guys are good. Rhys James is good, no doubt about that. Luke Shaw, fantastic, no doubt about that. Declan Rice, good player, no doubt about that. But at this point, you needed goals. And there is a Bukayo Saka that Mikel Arteta has made him a player that can play just anywhere. And he doesn't just play anywhere. He has those bite and those abilities to advance forward and create goals. There's Jadon Sancho,
right,
who is a creator that wouldn't really do what Rammstein was doing, because Rammstein was basically dancing around. It reminds me of some seasons ago when Eden Hazard was in Chelsea, where he would take the ball from the middle of the park, dribble to the wing, dribble into the 18-yard box, dribble out again without being what's the word now? Without looking for more, like trying to bite, and create an attempt. That's basically what Rammstein was doing. So you had a Jadon Sancho, that's Marcus Rashford. Now, if you were to take off Phil Foden, there's Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I mean, you have players that they are more focused on scoring goals than the one you had on the field of play. I mean, these guys are more focused, more they have more eyes on the goals than the one you had on the field of play. Why don't you bring them in? Why don't you leave Harry Kane and play with Dominic Calvert-Lewin or play with Marcus Rashford?
Okay.
But the summary of everything is that the English national team will always be the English national team, and that in any way did not surprise me. But let me just say a bit about Billy Gilmour. I think in the absence of N'Golo Kante, Chelsea have a potential in Billy Gilmour. They just have to work on that player. They just have to work on that young star and build him as fast as they can, because I see him as a very good backup for N'Golo Kante.
Okay. By the way, you can be part of the conversation. Our text message portal is on, and our WhatsApp portal. You can definitely send us your messages. Both text messages and WhatsApp messages all open. The number is 0701 9339 962. I'll take that again. 0701 9339 962. All right, you can send in your text messages, your thoughts, even as the discussions and analysis continue here in the studio. Very soon we'll definitely be switching over to talking about the games to expect today. But before we do that, just before we go to the group standings, isn't it, you heard Reliance, they talked about bringing in players. Harry Kane has not been firing. Why not we bring in Calvert-Lewin?
See, that's the problem with Southgate. I think he has some of the, will he say, anointed players he makes sure that he actually uses in every game. You might want to say, yes, what if he had not played Harry Kane and he still ended this way?
Or could maybe he be captaincy?
Sometimes it counts. You say maybe we'll come for his head if nothing had happened, but I expected him to actually make those changes earlier. I think maybe if he had introduced Grealish earlier, then we see that creativity could not really actually work. Then you want to talk about, I think sometimes the problem I have with Jack Grealish is that he holds on to play too much. He holds on to this, but even when he came in, he was still the most fouled player to show you the way it comes in. But I think one thing with Southgate, we should know that you want to talk about Gennaro Shaw, not really changing too much things when he does. I think Southgate is that kind of man.
But what is the problem of England? Wait,
they have so many stars.
I want to ask. I'm just trying to go back, and I'll do that. I'll let you guys in on. I want to get the name of the last 10 coaches England has had in there. I can remember.
There are lots.
They've had a lot, But I want to get I want to get the exact names. We can go back and talk about. Okay, I think I have that.
The era of Lampard, Steven Gerrard. I think there was Larsson, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
they've got different names in that. Okay, I think I have. Okay, I have some names here now, but I want to get it in an order. All right, you have Fabio Capello. We have them. Okay. Let me just get.
Maybe
let
just
me,
call it not
let-
in the.
let me just align everything together. We've had even Roy Hodgson.
Yes.
We've
at
had
some point.
Steven Goran Eriksson, Glenn Hoddle,
Eriksson,
Glenn Hoddle, Bobby
Rob.
Robson. Of course, we can talk about Aframzi. There's been names, and I actually want to ask, do you think the problem is about coaches? Because ordinarily, the English side and their FA, they have this interest for local coaches. All right, it's priority.
Yes.
So you are coming in as a coach of the side. If you're actually from England, I mean, they look at the English coaches first, before they consider foreign coaches. I think it's a problem of management because they've got fine players. They want to appoint Roy Hodgson.
And wisdom, I think
They want to appoint
it's still a problem of.
they appoint any Gareth Southgate cannot coach a Chelsea.
I think it's still a problem of the managers.
Although he took them to the semi-final last in the World
even
Cup.
true, but you want to say which means through a boring means that I pray doesn't really happen. Because yesterday, when I was seeing that yesterday game, I just hope England doesn't really qualify and give us that kind of boring futures they did during the World Cup. No, it won't. It won't actually stay good. If you watch that game yesterday, look at England's substitution. You had chances of making 5 substitutions. Look at that. There were a lot of stars. I
How
kept
many did he
wondering.
even make?
You
I think he made about 3.
He made I think just 3. He changed Phil Foden.
Grealish,
No,
Grealish.
two, just two.
Just 2. That's Marcus
Rashford
Rashford
and
came
Grealish.
in.
Rashford
Then-
and Grealish,
And
that's
Grealish. That
And
was
you
just
had
change.
3. Like you had massive 5.
You had a
substitutions to
Calvert
make.
Lewin there. You had a Jordan Sancho. You had Jude Bellingham. I want to say yes. Maybe you might not really want to put him in, but there are lots of players there. Their second, you can't even compare their second. Some of their the second 11. Those teams they're sitting down on the substitutions. They were better than those Scottish players that were on pitch, but still they were able to. I think it's a thing of
No,
character.
you don't want to compare.
No, I think
Maguire was on that bench.
I think it's a thing of character.
Jordan
This
Henderson
time,
was on that bench.
England did not show character to show that they
Sancho
actually
was on
when
Ben
he came,
Chilwell was on the bench.
I think they were area of
So you
stars.
don't want to go
you
to
want,
the
I think
bench.
one you call it to the managers because still they have at some point they are flattered at some point. You even during the time of Lampard, in which you had a lot of area of stars in the English side, they still couldn't really get it right. I think I don't know how to put it, but
I've gotten the
it's-
coaches now. Let me call those coaches. I think the most successful coach in their history would have to be Alf Ramsey, who won the World Cup in 1966. But you go, let me not go too far, so it won't be like our generation will not know those people. So let's start from 1994. Terry Venables, Glenn Hoddle, Howard Wilkinson, Kevin Keegan, Peter Taylor, Sven Goran Eriksson, Steve McLaren, Fabio Capello, Stuart Pearce, Roy Hodgson, Sam Allardyce, Gareth Southgate. So looking at the last 10, Gareth Southgate, Sam Allardyce, meaning descending or ascending now, depending on how you say it. Gareth Southgate, Sam Allardyce, Roy Hodgson, Stuart Pearce, Fabio Capello, Steve McLaren, Sven Goran Eriksson, Peter Taylor, and Kevin Keegan. The last 10 managers they've had. And you want to look at these coaches and ask yourself, has any of these coaches coached their top teams? Maybe Manchester United. I can't remember any of these coaches being a success at Manchester United. I can't remember any of these coaches being a success at Liverpool. Okay, Kevin Keegan was back in the day. Kevin Keegan returned, and I mean, it was nothing to write home about now.
Fabio Capello coached Real Madrid.
Fabio Capello coached Real Madrid, yes.
Sam Allardyce is the big boss.
Who has he coached?
When it comes to relegation, that's when you call
Pierce,
Sam Allardyce.
who has he coached? Roy Hodgson. Where has
He
he coached?
coached Liverpool, didn't
How
he?
did he survive? What was the story at the end of the day? So I don't know, but is it possible that is a coaching problem and not a player problem?
I think it's a combination of both. I'll tell you what I mean. But before I say that, someone said Gary Southgate is a more glorified Raw yesterday.
No, but he has taken them to the semi-final of the World Cup.
See, that was
It was not a fluke. There were 32 solid teams at the World
It
Cup.
was a
See,
fluke.
that-
It
see, wisdom,
was
see that
a
World
fluke.
Cup.
It was a fluke.
Even at some points, we were begging for England
They
to
have
get eliminated.
They have of the
But they were
World
getting
Cup
the
they
results.
found themselves.
and that's why they crashed out.
Was the reason why they were getting the results. They found themselves on the half of the draw, more like it that they could easily maneuver their way past their opponents. When they faced a tougher opponent in Belgium, how they did, and Belgium defeated them twice in the World Cup, didn't they? That was when they faced a classical opponent at the World Cup. So yes, I can tell you that it was a fluke. The adventure at the World Cup 2018 was a fluke because, I mean, they didn't have stand opponent. Tell me that you played the opponent in front of you, no problem. But when you have the real test, show me your might. That's what counts. But away from the World Cup, back to the Euros, wisdom is a combination of both for the English national team. I'll tell you why I'm saying so. The English national team, or let's say England as a country, they do something I really love, which is hype their own. Like, right? Rate their own. Rate them high as you can. Put their own in the faces of the people. Even if you don't want to notice the existence of Jude Bellingham, England will make you notice that Jude Bellingham exists. That is something I really, really like. That's something that we as a nation, whether in sport or whatsoever, we need to learn to do. That's me digressing a little bit. It's something we don't do. And I admire that so much, right? It works in the positive because we know many of these English players, we follow them and all that. They put them on our faces.
No, that's what I want to ask you now. So you can't talk about, you can't praise what you don't see. You can't go and find any NLL players.
That's what I'm saying.
The Bellingham was in NLL, yes. It's from the federation.
You understand? They put them there for us to see. Even if everyone don't want to notice their existence, they put them there for us to see. That's something we should emulate from England as a country, especially in sports. Now, why is that again a bad thing? Why is that working against them to some extent? First off, which player should I mention?
They have good players.
They have good players.
There's no name you want to mention.
They have good
although
players.
they are not as good as some other countries.
I'm coming. They have good players that you cannot categorize them as A-class players. They just have good players.
It depends on what you mean by A-class.
You know what I mean by A-class is the quality is top notch. It's up there. All right, the quality is just up there. You can't help but notice that the quality is top notch. That's what I mean by A-class players.
Okay, so they have A-class players.
Maybe you could call. Maybe if I want to make an instance now, I could start from the defense. We'll start from. Let's say forget the experience, forget the number of experience, but let's say Sergio Ramos, for instance, now, or Sergio Ramos has had quite a lot of experience. So let me leave Sergio Ramos.
He didn't make it to the World Cup, though.
Let me leave Sergio Ramos out of the conversation. Who should I even call?
No, they've got players.
So you look at let's say Maguire, for instance, now. He's a good player, but is he a top-notch defender that's worth his hype?
But he's better than Grant Harley.
I don't think so.
Who was at the back you're
not going to compare.
Scotland.
No, for Scotland,
but
it was a spirited Scotland. It was a spirited Scotland altogether. Is he better than Kieran Tierney? Maybe.
There's nobody in that back line. Even Scott McTominay that this back line is not better than Maguire. At the back.
That's by your own rating anyway.
No, at the back. McTominay is not a defender.
There are so many persons that will place an argument.
As a back player.
There are so many persons that will place an argument on that, but that's by the way.
No, Maguire and McTominay. They don't play the same.
You can't even compare them.
It's being deputized.
You can't. So in the end, it's a wrong comparison because you're not going to compare Scott McTominay, who is a defensive midfielder, to a Maguire, who is a centre back. But that's by the way. So I was trying to make cases for the players they have. You
feel they are not exactly there.
They are not at that level. Okay. When you expect them to be at that level, along the line they will eventually be, because I could still recall the team coached by Goran Eriksson. I mean, that team was full of A-class players. Frank Lampard, no argument about what the man can do. Steven Gerrard, no argument about what the man can do. Joe Cole, that team was blessed. I think Michael Owen was
Prophet,
also
you
part
gotta
of that
lay hands
team.
on them.
That team was
they can be blessed.
was
like, they got players. Rooney,
stars.
Michael
Owen at the heart of defense.
When John Terry was there, that team was.
They had players.
A class.
They had
I mean,
players.
proper A class. You know, you can't even compare them to this particular one because lots of players in this team are yet to discover their full potentials. Is it Reece James? He's just having a breakout season with Chelsea. Is it Mason Mount? More like a breakout season as well with Chelsea. Is it Ben Chilwell? So you can't make the comparison. So these guys are developing gradually to that level. They're going to get there more like it if there's that consistency. They will get there. But the England will make you look at them with that eye of that Frank Lampard team.
All right.
England will make you look at who was there
Mason
now?
Mount.
No. At the back line, for instance. Okay, Tyrone Mings. Or let me even say Harry Maguire. England will make. He didn't start. I'm making a case for the whole team.
Right.
England will make you look at Harry Maguire in the eyes of a proper John Terry, which you can't compare. You understand?
You can't
make
also
you look at that.
I can also look at Spain and tell you players that are not like the players of the past.
No, calm down. I'm making a case here.
Okay.
They'll make you look at them with that eyes. Whereas the John Terry they are making reference to was a ripe John Terry at his full prime. You understand? So when the players are at 5, they're already players at 10. You understand? So it creates so much expectations
on the players,
and the
fans too.
Whereas they are not yet there at that level. That's number one. Then number two, I think it's a 60-40 case. The players will take it maybe from a 30-40 angle, but the coaches will take a larger part of the inability to transition the stars, the array of stars always paraded by English national team to result. The coaches should take a larger part of it, or maybe the FA that go on appointing this coach, because there is no way in the planet that England couldn't defeat Scotland last night. There is just no way. But it happened. You understand? It happened.
All right.
Because why did it happen? A larger part of the blame on the coach Gareth Southgate. That's why it happened, because choices you expected the man to make, he didn't make.
He didn't make those choices.
The approach to the match that I expected at some point, though, the approach was begging for change. He didn't. The substitutions he was supposed to make, he didn't. The starting lineup that would have been different, a little bit different from what I saw last night, wasn't there.
So for you,
a larger part of the blame will go to the coaches that are always managing the English national team, and maybe the FA who go on to appoint these coaches, but a little bit too on the players. But I think they've always had stars. That's basically what it is.
For the England
That's why
side,
I wouldn't really put it much on the players.
When it comes to the talents, I think they have more of individual brilliance than a team play. I think that was one of the problems they're also having yesterday. We talk about the Scotland, I think you're giving them less credit. Yesterday, they actually outclassed England. You might say, yes, possession play, you might say that, but they actually, for everybody, they made good use of it. They were compact. Even when they brought in a Grealish, they brought in a Marcus Rashford, they were still able to tame England. It wasn't really, I think they actually learned England. They just knew that they had to hold on to their own. England has a lot of talent, yes, you might say, but I want to support what Ryan said. The managers, I think they've not been doing great. Like I said yesterday, I expected better from Gareth Southgate. He was supposed to do something better. He was supposed to make those changes earlier on. I think changing the first lineup in the first game against Croatia, we knew that Shaw did not start. Even Reece James, I'm not sure he made the starting 11.
The first game,
he didn't make it. He made those changes. Why didn't he actually tweak it to when it comes to the forward? You still had the same starters. Then at some point you knew that from the first half towards the end, we noticed that Kane was not having the best of his game. You'd have actually substituted him at that point and get someone else, someone that might not be so tackled by other players, someone that would create in more free chances for the other players to actually move forward. But he didn't do that. I think that was what cost them greatly that game yesterday.
All right, talking about giving credit to Scotland, I'll pull out the statement made by Bruno Fernandes, and I mean it was really one for the ages, if you ask me. Ronaldo is influential as always, but the most valuable player in the national team is the we. The we is the most important. There are many is, but the us is what counts. Why did I say this? John Stones was in the Champions League final. Mason Mount was in the Champions League final. Raheem Sterling was in the Champions League final.
James.
Luke Shaw was in the Europa League final.
Reece James was also
Reece James was in the Champions League final, yes. And
Phil
We can talk
Foden.
about the goal scoring prowess. Yes, Phil Foden was in the Champions League final. Talk about the goal scoring prowess of Harry Kane for Tottenham too. So and Declan Rice. I mean, everybody, the top clubs are looking at securing his services. So maybe if you want to compare that names to Chi Adams, Lyndon Dykes, Andrew Robertson, Callum McGregor, Billy Gilmore,
Tierney,
Kieran Tierney, John McGinn.
Billy Gilmore was better than Declan Rice.
Stephen O'Donnell.
Who should I even mention? It was better than Declan Rice. It was better
O'Donnell,
than Mason Mount.
I think
It was better than who should I mention again in that English national
Scottish
team?
side had.
Kevin Nishbet.
It was Billy Gilmore was better than about 3 players on that. I mean, for last night, right?
So
Yes.
It was better than about 3 players. Even Jack Grealish that came in.
So
And that was
it's-
his first start.
Billy
for
Gilmore was
Euros.
better than
it's
in fact, in that midfield.
it's not about the East.
Maybe I
It's the we.
could take off
Yes.
Phil Foden a little bit because
the we.
Phil Foden was a bit more advancing
All
up
right.
front.
And Southgate
know.
went to remove him.
And Southgate
Like-
took him off, which I faulted, But again, no. Southgate totally he handed. See, isn't it say something about not giving Scotland the credit? I think I have now. I'll continue giving them the credit because I mean, Kieran Tierney was more like the busiest player on the field of play. He was very busy intercepting balls and then
Him and
blocking the
Gilmore.
shot, and then Gilmore, in the midfield was busy intercepting at the same time trying to create alongside Andrew Robertson. So those guys were spirited and they played more like a team than the English national team. They play more like we want this result than the English national team. But the English national team were a bit, what's the word, nonchalant. That devil may care attitude toward it. After all, we have it in the bag, so we are the better team and all that. So you could notice that disconnection. You could notice that disconnection from the midfield to the attack. Tyrone Mings, you might want to rate him, but you're rating him because Che Adams was busy throwing away chances. That would have hurted Tyrone Mings and even Jordan Pickford better. You could see the frustration
And
and the
Pickford was
anger
outstanding
in the
yesterday.
face of Jordan Pickford with the defense and the coordination in the middle of the park. So, in all, Gareth Southgate got it wrong.
Okay.
But Scotland were just beautiful
Better.
to watch.
All right,
I'm just wishing
We
they
would
could
have
find a way to
we would have
qualify.
to move to today's game. It will be up in 10 minutes. So let's just run through that one. Then we'll come back to look at the groups too, including that one of England and Scotland. Now, favourites, France make the trip to Budapest to take on Hungary, who knowing a win guarantees them progress from the group of death. A resilient showing in the 1-0 win over Germany was the perfect start for Didier Deschamps' men as they look to emulate the Le Bleu sides of 1998 and 2000 in doing an international double. For a while, Hungary frustrated holders Portugal in their opening game and almost took the lead, only for Zabolsk's effort to be disallowed for offside. Moments later, Portugal scored. They then added a second and a third. But can the Magyars bounce back after such a disappointment? All right, quickly now on the story so far for these two sides. That's talking about both the French and the Hungarian side. By the way, like I said, you can send in your text messages. Let's get your thoughts too on the discussion so far. The text message portal is 0701 9339 962. All right, that's the text message portal. You can send in your thoughts on your own view of the conversation so far, your own thoughts and what you think of what happened in the game between England and Scotland yesterday. All right, so Hungary, we are always up against it in the group. I mean, containing reigning European and world champions. Everybody knew that. So they would have ruled their luck when Sean's goal was rightly disallowed for offside in that game against Portugal, almost immediately after Rafael Guerreiro made the breakthrough before Ronaldo took over. His first from the penalty spot saw him overtake Michel Platini as the tournament's all-time top scorer before his second in stoppage time made it 11 European Championship strikes since 2004. France, meanwhile, made the perfect start by winning 1-0 against Germany thanks to Matt Hummel's own goal. I think it is what it is. They're all set to come out. The French side, led by that man. Is it the one leading the team? No, he's not. It's Hugo Lloris. I just saw Adrien Rabiot I was thinking he was. It's Hugo Lloris, the captain of the side. Definitely, you've got Rafael Varane. Okay, quickly. I think that's what I'll do before I get to hear. We get to hear from the guys. Them give us their verdict or analysis on this particular one. Let's quickly run through who is starting where. Like I said, the game will be up in 8 minutes or less, in 7 minutes now. If we follow the time, which it would be 2 p.m. All right, so the lineups for you, we've got Peter Gulaxi. Used to be a well sought after talent when he was much younger. That's not the case these days. Peter Gulaxi, the goalkeeper of Hungary. We've got a 3-man backline. It's a 3-5-2 formation. Andre Botka, Willy Orban, and Attila Zalai making up the back three. We've got Loic Nigo, more like a wing back, depending on how they deploy that midfield. Lazio Klens Hesler, Adam Nagy, Andras Schaffer, and Attila Fiola. And up front is Adam Zalai, the man whose goal was disallowed, and Roland Salai. That's these allies they are going to, you know. They probably would tear them into shreds. But for the French side, which would be easier really, 4-3-1-2 formation. We've got Hugo Lloris. Hugo Lloris is the goalkeeper. Lucas Digne will be starting off as the left back. Presnel Kimpembe, oh my God, look at stars. Presnel Kimpembe of PSG would be there in defense, paired by a Real Madrid, a Galactico. PSG and Real Madrid in one defense. Oh my goodness. And Bayern Munich, I'm coming. Presnel Kimpembe of PSG, Rafael Varane of Real Madrid, Benjamin Pavard of Bayern Munich. And in midfield, they've got just 3 men sitting ahead of these defenders. Adrian Rabiot of Juventus, N'Golo Kante of Chelsea, Paul Pogba of Man United. That's Europa League final and Champions League final in one midfield. Antoine Griezmann of Barcelona, Kylian Mbappe. You know, Kylian Mbappe and Karim Benzema up front. And you want to just believe any meat they see, they will eat you raw. They won't even allow you to be cooked. They will cut you in pieces, you know. And maybe on the bench they've got Steve Mandanda, has always been there. Mike Maignan, Clement Langley, Thomas Lemar, Olivier Giroud, Ousmane Dembele, Corentin Tolisso, Moussa Sissoko, Lucas Hernandez, Leo Dubois, Jules Koundé, Marcus Thuram. Oh, Koundé didn't do Cameroon again. Jules Koundé, Marcus Thuram. You want to believe their bench can beat Hungary.
No,
but guys, Hungary on their own. I'm sure they were not expecting.
No, but when taking their first game against Portugal, I think they weren't
they
so bad. They gave a good fight
until they were broken.
They were at some point. I get the legs got tired. They actually lost those concentration, and at some point they actually gave in. But Hungary gave a good count of themselves in their first game against Portugal. That goal came in the 84th minute to tell you that they held a Portugal side that had the Cristiano Ronaldo there. You had the Bruno Fernandes that could give in those goals. You had the Diego Jota. You had they had an area of stars, but still the Hungarians were able to keep a good account of their game till the 84th minute, in which Portugal got those 3 goals. It did actually show how the kind of display they gave in that game. So if not for
they even scored a goal that was
they scored a goal before, that's by Roland Salah before actually the Portugal side got those goals. I think they actually you might not really want to underestimate them so much. Yes, you want to say the France side, they have the pace, they have the talent. When it comes to the midfield, it comes to the start from the defense. Then they have decent when it comes to their defense. Then you go to the midfield, you have an area of stars. You have N'Golo Kante, you have Paul Pogba. And that game, Paul Pogba could actually do all the creativity, because Kante was able to cover up for him when it comes defensively. It actually paved way for them. But still, against the Hungary side, I expect France to have a better edge ahead of them. When it comes to the ranking, Hungary is nowhere to be found. France is there ahead of them. When it comes to the stars, France is ahead of them. But still, it's an Euros. No game is the same. Sometimes when you actually think it's all done and dusted, some teams can actually spring up surprises. But it should be a France game. they should actually take it because they won their first game. You want to say all credit to Matt Hummel's own goal, which gave France the win because France were not able to actually score that in their first encounter with Germany, if not for the own goal that they had.
They scored twice. Ruled out
that
for
was ruled
offside.
out. It was not a goal. Offside is not a goal.
But
so
at least
you
they scored.
And then you want to talk about
In the absence of-
No, they did not score. They did not score.
Who is
No,
the-
if you want to
they
talk
did not
about
score.
that.
In the absence
No, you
of
want to talk about
VAR,
They did
in
not
the
score.
absence of VAR, the last goal scored by
Wisdom.
Gary
That means
Benzema would
Hungary
have
scored.
stood.
That means Hungary scored.
But at the
That's
end
what
of the
it
day,
says.
they did not
Again,
score.
they did score. They did score. It was
but I get
Martinez
your
goal.
point.
Do you know why I'm saying that? It's gonna who didn't watch the match or didn't really follow the history of the match, more like it would tend to believe that it was just about the own goal. All right, because I think the French national team, they had their plans all cut out. All right, talking against Germany. Germany had more creators. Germany had more creators. I don't see. And wait now, they confuse me.
They're not that
Germany had more creators. That's the thing. Do you know what I was thinking when you were calling players and their club? I was like, when would the
All this money
Super
we are
Eagles-
paying, they're not wrong.
When?
We can pay Benzema.
I beg, let him come.
When will Nigeria boast of stars like these
It's not-
playing for top clubs? The worth of players in this pitch
Reliance,
can feed one country.
Today. It needs
Can
It's
feed
bigger
one
than
country.
Nigeria's budget
it
for
is
3
that
years.
today.
The worth of players on the field of play right now.
It's bigger than Nigeria's
For France.
5 years budget.
Anyways, let's leave that aside. So Germany had more creators. All right, it felt like I was watching Man City against Chelsea in the Champions League final, where the man threw into the frame more creators, more playmakers than having players who are going to be out and out looking for those goals. I think that was a clear case of Germany. They had more creators, players that can really do a lot with the ball. But that team was basically lacking. Someone said it was basically lacking. What's his name now? A Robert Lewandowski. It was like a Bayern team without a Robert Lewandowski, which I certainly agree. Because you could see the high line that Antonio Rudiger was. You could see that Kimmich, the high line that Bayern kept or do keep in their matches was what was exemplified in the German national team. But France, they had their plans cut out. You had more creators, yeah. We're not going to do the creating and drag radio. Right. Once we get it, we hit it. So it was more like a City Chelsea Champions League final. What I saw, So when I came in with, at least they had 2 goals that were disallowed for offside. Someone who really didn't follow it to feel maybe France were just doing
I'll still make my argument. If you are saying that
they packed the
those
bus kind of
goals,
thing,
then we'll have to talk about Hungary scoring before Portugal.
Yeah, Hungary actually scored. It was allowed for offside.
Actually,
Okay. You know what? The thing is, you're making a case for Hungary right now.
Yes, I'm trying to tell
you're
you.
making a case that
if you're saying
the
about
score line.
France, Germany, it was not like
The score
Germany
line
were so
did not
poor.
really tell the whole story between Portugal and Hungary. True or false?
True.
The score line equally did not really tell the whole story between
It's not
France
like
and Germany.
It's not like Germany were so awful. Let's not forget.
Germany
before
were not
this
so
Euros,
awful. In fact, in the second
Before
half,
this
Germany
Euros,
were like
Germany
the
had-
better team
Yes,
when it comes to team play.
Okay.
You understand? But France had their plans cut and they got those 2 goals. Those 2 goals that were
Those
offside goals in the second half because they had their plans all cut out. So the 1-0 score line, the Matt Hummel's own goal, did not really give the idea of what France did in that
intensity
match
of the game, okay.
because if it is someone, if after all now own goal, now France take win, they will feel like
it doesn't exactly reflect.
You could like say see the stars you mentioned. Someone listening will be like, the France national team. So it's gonna be like what's the word now? A bite on the French national team that if I this kind of stars now only own goal now you take win Germany
Against Germany. Do you know
Germany has not been fantastic.
They've not been
Germany
fantastic.
have not been fantastic. That's the thing.
Going to the
So that's
nation
where the
league, they
argument will come from.
they've not been doing so well with Joachim Löw. That's even to the point that he's
But they
actually
still-
said going
they
to
still
You
have
resign.
understand? They have the
they still have them,
players, but they've not been
I think
doing
they lack
it.
that
Yeah.
Robert Lewandowski, just like
So that's the
Reliance
point
said.
I'm
They
trying
don't
to
have
make here.
Yeah.
when it comes to the forward
That's
line, that
true.
man that will actually give them that goal. Because when you talk about the France-Germany game, Germany also gave a fight for that game.
Okay.
But at some point, they couldn't actually get the goal.
Guys, let me get your predictions. The game is already up. By the way, if you're listening, we'll be bringing you the quick updates in that game, even as we will be looking at the biggest game today between Portugal and
Wait
All
for
right.
it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
and of course the
Wait
Germans.
for it.
Guys, quickly, what's your predictions for the Hungary-France game? Hungary 0,
France nil at the moment?
Hungary are going to be hungry in the end. I think that's the best I can say. They're going to be hungry in the end.
Okay.
I'm not expecting Germany to use the same. I'm not expecting France to use the same approach they use against Germany, because that was
The new Ramos.
well understood.
How many red cards this young man will take? But go ahead.
That was
Don't
well
mind me.
understood why they had to do that. I expect them to try to possess.
Okay.
Even if they're not going to possess as much as Germany, but I expect them to play high metal football.
All right.
Known to Jurgen Klopp. That high metal football, get it, one or two quick passes, and then hit.
Okay.
So more domination from the French national team than what the
At
Hungary
the end, you
would
know,
do.
still give me prediction.
So Hungary are going to be hungry.
Queen,
That's the best I
isn't
can
it?
say.
I think it won't be so easy actually for the France side, because we look at the lineup of the Hungary. They have the midfield. They have a 5-man midfield. I think they want to actually choke up that free flow of play that the Italians and the French team actually enjoy whenever they come to those encounters. So it might not be an area of goals, but when you want to talk about the quality on pitch, you want to give it to the France side. But when you look at the beginning of this, the first 4 minutes of this game, I think it has actually been more of Hungary doing the gameplay. No, but still, Wisdom, I think we actually, when it comes to the Hungary fans, they are outstanding. They actually made Portugal very scared, and this time we are seeing it again. Last time the stadium 60,000 filled. This time they are still in their numbers. They actually, I think that was one of the problems Portugal really had then. When you take the ball, the bulls, and it actually gives those shivers.
So what are your predictions?
I see a France win. But I don't think it will be an area of goals. But France has to win, because if you don't win against a Hungary side, then how will you then win
If
a
they don't
Portugal
score
in
more
the
than
final
3,
game?
Portugal scored 3. They should score more than 3.
Why?
Because
Why?
they have stars in all positions than Portugal. Portugal have stars, right? But France have more complete stars than Portugal.
That's according to you.
Yes.
That's according to
Yes.
you. But guys,
Wait,
I don't know.
let's go to. Okay, let's start. Should we do it?
No, let's not do it.
We'll pitch the Portugal France team side by
Let's
side.
not do it, because if we also do it, I could also show you players that
That are better than players on the first 11.
No, that's not the statement. But the Portuguese team, that won the Euros last time, they were not even as complete.
No, they're not as
as
complete
this
as
team
it.
they
So,
have now.
so
They're
but
not as
guys,
complete
I don't know
as
if you're noticing the number of head injuries and concussions and issues we're having, in this tournament. It's becoming a problem. I don't know, but maybe I'm the one calculating these health issues we've seen so far. Eriksen, so now there's been an operation on his heart. He had a surgery. They've implanted something inside, so he can actually it can help him breathe and move freely. Then we had a case of, was it Pavard?
Yes.
I think it was Benjamin Pavard
that was allowed.
yes.
UEFA had to.
We're thinking he fainted on the field of play, and now we're also seeing one player from the Hungary side, and although he's up, but it was still a head injury around his, what we call the medulla oblongata, that region. All right, even as the Hungarians are pushing forward, and it's working, connected pass, and they're pushing, but somehow the French side, Antoine Griezmann dispossessed the man. All right.
Are you seeing Antoine Griezmann in this France team? He plays more of a free role. The guy is roaming everywhere. He's up front, it's in the middle, it's at the defense. And I think it's making him fantastic, because I could recall the Germany match. He was basically having interceptions more like a defensive midfielder would do.
Okay.
He has more freedom to roam about, than what he has at Barcelona. The same thing with Eden Hazard for Belgium. That freedom he used to enjoy when at Chelsea, he enjoyed it in the Belgian national team when he came in.
So he does not.
He doesn't enjoy it.
He does not know that Real Madrid has
No,
players.
he doesn't.
You think Real Madrid is a team you can come and roam?
No, now.
It's not for
What you do? What you do is put your player in the best possible position he can get his best.
Yeah.
He was basically roaming about, had that free role for the Belgian national team when they played. Who did they play yesterday?
Denmark.
Not yesterday.
That was
Not
on
yesterday. That was
Denmark.
when they played against
2-1.
Denmark here.
Yeah.
So when he came in, you could see flashes of that Eden Hazard that was in Chelsea, not the Real Madrid in Hazard.
No, Carlo Ancelotti will bring out the best.
No, but I think that the France team, I think their manager Deschamps has found a way to make each of those players thrive better. Yes,
okay.
To actually thrive better. When you come from the defense line, he brings in the best. The midfield, he makes sure that you are compatible with the next man.
Right.
Kante and Pogba, they are compatible. Forward there, you have Mbappe and Griezmann and that's Karim Benzema. So it's just
and Benzema.
they are doing.
The team is
The
just
team is just complete.
They have
But
players.
will they be able to take the trophy?
I saw Greece
We
in
don't know.
2004, a Greek side that were not exactly there in terms of the names, but they won the Euros in 2004. We saw FC Porto win the Champions League. It was around the same period we had fairy tales, but we saw FC Porto did the same. So I don't judge tournaments really with, like, I would still say it, the Portugal side are still my favorite, even if I know the French side are, like Reliance said, Omo. If you look at those players already, it's like when what's his name played for Nigeria, Terry Murphy. He said he got into the field and he saw Ian Acho.
I was scared.
And all the players he's been watching, he didn't know what to do. So if you just bring Gambo Mohamed, you're probably looking at Varane. He said, Lord, bless me. Anyway, but let's move on. By the way, guys, let's just keep our eyes, even as we've seen a yellow card to what is Benjamin Pavard? Yellow card to Benjamin Pavard. One man, I think he's been flying around. They've brought him down like twice ever since this game began, and I'm just hoping it's not exactly what we saw in the other game. But the referee giving him a yellow card, maybe for diving or for just falling unnecessarily, maybe. All right, so it's currently 0-0, and we would be moving on to the next discussion. Will be Peter Gulazzi. He's not really been tested so far, and it's 10 minutes. That's the RB Leipzig man. But does it matter?
Hungary has actually been giving France a run for their money.
They've not allowed
They've
them
been in this
get
game
into their
right from the beginning. The first,
They are
That's
vital opponent.
yes, initial, but you never can tell. Upsets actually do happen in games like this. But you still want to give it to a France side, but then you have to give credit to Hungary. They've actually given France a run for their money. They've been moving forward. Their attack line have actually been busy, although they've not been able to actually make that count. They've not been lethal in the attack, but still, it's still early days. Anything can still happen.
All right, early days, anything can still happen. All right, so we'll be looking at the biggest game today in a while. That's the big game between Ronaldo, his Portuguese guys. That's Bruno Fernandes. You want to talk about the likes of Bernardo Silva, Diego Jota. They will be up against the Germans. All right. But before we do that, don't forget you can send in your text messages. Send in your thoughts on our text message and WhatsApp portal. Let's get to hear from you. All right. Text message and WhatsApp portal. We'll open the phone lines in a bit. But first, let me just read the messages we've had so far, because I've got lots of them here, so we'll be able to follow up. Like I said, the phone lines will be opened later on. Let me start with WhatsApp. The England national team is just a bunch of overhyped players, except maybe for players like Kane and Mount. I am Caro from Rumokoro. I wonder why he didn't add Mount there, but maybe Mount has done well enough to deserve
I think that's from a Chelsea fan in an angle.
All right, let's get to the text message portal. Okay, this one says, afternoon everyone. England have a very, very good squad, but not an experienced manager. Believe you me, if you allow Luis Enrique manage England, they will be unstoppable. Southgate doesn't know what to do. Ezekiel from Oyigbo, thanks. I think that should be Oyigbo. Hungary versus France is an honest draw. Felix from Rupoku. Okay, that's his prediction. Okay, this message is not for us. Okay. Ugochukwu Iwanya, who says France 2, Hungary 0. But he says the problem with the English national team is the squad and the management, like what the other guy said. The English national team would always be the English national team. All right. We hope that changes, really, because It's becoming the same song over and over again. So it says, good afternoon, Sports Crew. I'm Jay from Apara Link Road. England can only get past the group stage. I'm so disappointed with all the players they have. They are not playing nice football. Please give me updates on Man United transfer. Don't worry, stick with us. We'll get to Manchester United when the time comes. The transfer stories and everything. We've got you covered. All right? Just stay with us. But let's move on and talk about the game between... That's the big game between... I call it the big game because it's the biggest game for today. Maybe the France-Germany game was at the time. But after becoming the leading scorer in the European Championship history, Cristiano Ronaldo will have his sights set on Ali Day's record of 109 international goals when Portugal faced Germany today. The Portuguese legend has 106 to his name after his brace against Hungary. But Germany will provide a sterner test for the Juventus forward even after losing 1-0 to France in their group of death opener. A win will see Portugal through, but Germany also needs something from this game if they are to avoid a potential early exit. Story so far. Let me just bring in all the, I call it the little stats that might make the difference on these two sides, just in case you missed the very first game or their very first games of Euro 2020 or in 2021. Portugal had to wait until the 84th minute to make the breakthrough against Hungary, but eventually ran out 3-0 winners in Budapest in front of a capacity crowd. Rafael Guerreiro opened the scoring before Ronaldo grabbed his record-breaking goal from the spot. He followed that with a stoppage time strike. His 11th in European Championship tournament since 2004. Germany, meanwhile, succumbed 1-0 to France with a Matt Hummels' own goal. The difference, Kylian Mbappe also had a strike disallowed, but Germany created several good opportunities themselves without converting. That's how it has been pretty much for the two sides. But, Izini, let me get your thoughts. Manchester United have got a player here. Man City have got a player in this game. I think all the big clubs, virtually all the big clubs outside which club would be out? There's no Barcelona player here.
No,
No Barca player here.
No.
Okay.
No Barca player.
No.
I think we have more of
There's a Madrid player there.
Yes, you have a Madrid player. You have a Juventus
There's
player.
Bayern Munich there.
There's Bayern Munich. You have.
There's Chelsea there.
Yes, I think maybe when you call them, it'll be easier. For the Portugal side, you have Ruben Dias, you have Bruno Fernandes, you have Cristiano Ronaldo.
And I want you to be calling. No, the clubs. You see, the clubs make the game waiting.
Okay.
This could pass for a World Cup final. All right. So let me help you. We have Nelson Semedo.
No.
Semedo is with Tottenham these days.
Yeah.
Has he returned to?
I think he has
Barca?
returned.
Okay.
It wasn't.
But we have that. This is now
move.
looking at the Portuguese side though. That's the angle I'm coming from. He was with Wolves rather, and I think he's gone back.
It wasn't the permanent move. So
Yeah,
I
he
don't
was-
know if the loan.
It wasn't, but I'll confirm that the details of what he was doing at Wolves, whether it was permanent or not. He's still there. Still there now. So, okay. I think he remains there. Maybe
Maybe it was the longer
I'll
loan
confirm the
deal.
details of that deal. Okay, it was a permanent one. It was a permanent move to Wolves. So yes, they've got a Wolves player, maybe not a Barca player. I was trying to scream and say, okay, Semedo would be the Barcelona representative in the team. But Semedo, not exactly a Barca player anymore, plays for Wolves. All right, so you've got Nelson Semedo. This is probably what it might be when the game starts later today, but not yet time for that. That game will be coming up by 8 p.m. Nigerian time, 5 p.m. rather, Nigerian time. So Nelson Semedo, Pepe is in Portugal these days. Ruben Dias of Man City, Rafael Guerreiro, of Bayern. I think he's still there these days. You've got Renato Sanchez. Sanchez is with Lille these days. Not exactly the Sanchez.
And his introduction was what led to those goals. Him and Rafa Silva and the game against Hungary when they were introduced by the manager.
Yeah, Guerreiro of Dortmund now with the team. You've got I'm trying to get the other names. We've got Danilo Pereira. You've got Bernardo Silva of Man City.
Man City.
We've got Bruno of Manchester United. We've got Diogo Jota of Liverpool. We've got Cristiano Ronaldo of Juventus.
You've forgotten the PFL player, Ruben Diaz.
I called him earlier. That's when I was talking about their defense. Okay, and on their bench, they've got. Okay, let me leave the bench because I don't have all the energy for that. But for Germany, we've got Manuel Neuer, Bayern, Antonio Rudiger, Chelsea, Champions League winner, Mats Hummels, Bayern, Emre Can. I mean, Can has been in Bayern, he's been in Juventus, he's been in Liverpool. Can is more like experience too. Joshua Kimmich, Bayern, Leon Goretzka, Bayern, Toni Kroos, Real Madrid, Robin Gosens, Timo Werner of Chelsea, Thomas Müller, Bayern, Leroy Sané of Bayern these days. Players everywhere. All right, so let me get your thoughts. What are your expectations coming in from those two games now? That's from their various games. What are you expecting for today's game?
I think today's game will be more of an experience trying to play in for the both teams. When you call about the Germany side, you want to say they've actually had torrid times with their coach Joachim Löw. They haven't really performed as much as the Germany we know, the world powers when it comes to football. They have not actually given us so much to talk about, except for their poor results, going from the Nations League, dropping down, not winning, losing to different to the countries you never expect the Germany side to do. Then coming into the Euros, you were expected maybe they may want to give a fight, considering that this will be the last stint with their manager Joachim Löw, who will leave for Hansi Flick to actually take over after these Euros. But still, they've not really given so much. You want to say they have a lot of talent when it comes to the Germany side. They have experience. That is one thing that really counts for them. Most of those players, they are grounded and they play for the German Bundesliga, which is in Germany. They play more. They have a compact way of playing. Just that I feel they don't really have what it takes in the forward line. You want to say Ivan Perisic, but he's not those kind of players you will expect to actually give you those goals at every point. Is not as prolific as other strikers you want to see.
How's the chance?
Yes, that was the chance for France. But still coming against Portugal, who started the Euros in a fine form, 3-0 against Hungary, and that is something that keeps them at top of the table. They have more goals. They have one of the best players, arguably of our time, in the name of Cristiano Ronaldo, who is leading the forward. And before this game, Bruno Fernandes came up to say that it's the win spirit. I said that before the Euro started. The Portugal team, they play as a team. They don't it's not just the individual brilliance, but the fact that
because
they actually get to
there was a time in the last Euros when Ronaldo was plugged down.
He was even.
So they had to live without Ronaldo.
During the Nations League, Ronaldo didn't feature for all the games. It was at the ending of the league that he actually played and got those goals. You want to talk about the 2016 UEFA the Euros? He actually he was important, but still in the finals he was injured. He didn't play, but Portugal still find a way to win France. You want to say that win spirit is something that keeps Portugal moving. At some point during their first game with Hungary, you think all hope was lost because they were not able to break the defense line of the Hungary team from the first half down to the second, almost to the ending of the game. It took them quite long. More against Portugal, I don't think it will be those way. I think the goals will come in this game, maybe for the both teams, but you want to give it to the Portugal side, knowing that they are more compact. They play more as a team. They have, when it comes to the pace, because I think that was one problem that you have with the Germany side. You have more of the older players on pitch. They are actually struggling. The Mats Hummels that actually got that own goal for France, he was just called back by Joachim Löw. He was, before his stint had actually ended. Then you talk about Thomas Müller. He was not really with the team. He got his call back again. You want to look at this both sides. When it comes to the paper's wisdom, you want to give it to Portugal. They are the defending champions, and you don't expect the defending champions to actually lose so easily at the group stages. They are supposed to do better. They are supposed to give you a run for your money. So it will be more of I think experience will count more in this game for the both sides. Even their coach Joachim Löw has told this team they have to be more vigorous. Meaning they have to be there mentally. They have to be on this game. Physically, they have to be on this game, because if Germany actually loses today I think it will be hard even for them to come out as best losers. It might not be easy for them. Then if Portugal doesn't even take this chance, you might see if France wins this game, you then see them that they will then be tied on the same I think France will then be higher, and you want to actually top your group, because sometimes it helps you to get them an easier fixture when it comes to the next round. So it will be an interesting fixture. The bookmakers have said it. This is the clash of different winners. When you call Thomas Muller, he has won a lot of over 10 Bundesliga titles with when it comes to the German outfit. So it's not going to be easy for the Portugal side, but they are the defending champions. We expect them to actually win this one against a Germany that's I want to call them average when it comes to their performance lately. They have not actually given good sting to what the bookmakers. When you talk about Germany, they are World Cup winners. They have even also won the Euros. You don't expect this kind of displays from them. I think they have to be more focused if they actually want to get it right against the Portugal side. But it won't be easy, because against the Portugal, you have the Wii spirit, which leads them to actually win their games. They found it very difficult to make. I told you about the Croatia the England and the Scotland game. We found that it was hard for Gareth Southgate didn't make those changes at the right time. But for Portugal, their coach was able to know that this is the right time. He brought in Renato Sanchez, then brought in Rafa Silva. Those two players, when they came in, they changed the pace of the game. Rafa Silva was the one that earned them that penalty, that gave them the first goal, that actually opened that spark for the Portugal side. I think it won't be easy, but this is definitely the game for today. It's one game you won't want to miss, because you get to see the bigger boys actually lock horns together.
All right, it's one game you definitely would not want to miss. Which Fernandes would we see today is one question. But that's not the only game we have today. We have not just the one ongoing now. We have Group E, where Spain will be up against Poland. Spain would take on Poland. And isn't it? We know for sure that the Spanish side, they've huffed and puffed, could not find a way past the resolute Sweden side in the Euro 2020 opener. Poland, on the other hand, were victims of a smash and grab during their loss to Slovakia. The equation for both sides is quite simple. Win tonight and the outlook is immediately better. But fail and it is out of your hands. How do you see tonight panning out? Robert Lewandowski on one side, and a much talked about Alvaro Morata has been confirmed as a starter for today's game.
If you want to talk about the Poland side having Robert Lewandowski, but you want to know that wisdom, a tree can make a forest. Even if you leave it there for years, it will take it. You have to plant others. So I think that's the problem he's having with the Poland side. He doesn't have those number of balls he gets when he plays for his club side. So it's not going to be easy. Even before this tournament, we didn't really give Poland so much. We didn't give them so much chance against a Spanish side that I think somehow they've not had it right when it comes to the forward line. They haven't really been able to make those stellar goals you see from the Spanish team. Their last game with Sweden, they actually had 917 passes. Wisdom, that was what completed, but still had 85% on possession, still couldn't get a goal. You want to say yes, all to the credit of Morata not taking his chances, but this kind of thing happens. Even when they say football, it's easier said than done. When you're on that pitch, it's not actually easy. Those decisions might not really come into play. So I think it's supposed to. I think Spain has to get it right. They need a win to actually continue in this tournament, because you never can tell. I think the final game might not be as easy as they might want it. But you say the Poland side, they might want to actually give a stake. In the last game, I think it was the 2-1 defeat they had to Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Yes, we were beaten. At least they have a goal against a Spanish side that have not been able to score one from their first game. So it won't be easy. It won't be easy for Spain, because they found it hard. They were compact. They were able to move forward, but they just couldn't get that goal. You have a Morata that actually has support from his teammates. Even the coach has come on to support him that he's going to score. I think that should stand for him. He should use that as a confidence. It's a booster, a morale booster to know that he needs to get these goals for his team. For you to be an A-class player, you have to stand up when it matters the most, not during friendlies, not when competitions that are not important. You have in this is where you lay your mark. Ronaldo has 11 goals. This is what we'll talk about in years to come. We'll not talk about the number of the possessions you had, the stellar chances you made.
Right.
No, these are the games you have to actually make this count for you. It won't be easy, but when it comes to that, I tell you, you won't compare Poland and the Spanish team. No, they are not in the same level. The cadre, they are different, but still this is Euros. All these countries, they qualified, they actually played the qualifiers. It was not easy for them, so I think it would be a good, but they have to actually find a way to tame Robert Lewandowski, because he is a good striker. If he's able to get those goals, I think he will score faster than Alvaro Morata. But will he get those chances? That is one thing we'll wait to see.
All right, so they actually lost against Slovakia 2-1. Like she said, it was a 2-1 loss for the Polish side. So what does the group look like at the moment? It's Sweden, who are on top with 4 points from 2 games played. Slovakia are second with 3 points from 2 games, winning Poland and losing to Sweden. Spain will take on Poland later tonight, 8 p.m.
It's nice.
Nigerian time. And for this group currently, that's for the goalless game now. That's Hungary and France. Still goalless, 30 minutes on the clock. It's France who are on top, definitely with 4 points. Okay, based on live reports now, I want to say they won the first game. They just had 3 points. If it ends like this, it will be 4 points. But there's a lot to play for, so it will be too early to judge right there. All right, so we open the phone lines and get your thoughts. 0817 000 0951. 0810 9510 951. I'll take the numbers again. 0817 000 951. 0810 9510 951. We've talked about England. What do you think is responsible for England's failure to make the best of their players? Is it the players or the coach? Today's Sports Live, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Please, I want to know the time of France ball.
5 o'clock, 5 p.m. Nigerian time. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Please, did that man make any signing?
Just keep listening. We'll get to transfers by 3:30, 3 o'clock hour. Just keep listening.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. The phone line still open. 0817 000 0951. 0810 951 0951. What is the problem of the English national team? For years, since 1966. They've not found it. Right. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon. Oh, sorry, we lost you right there. Do well to call us back if you can. The phone line's still open. By the way, the text message portal is also an option. 07019339962. We went as far back as talking about the previous 10 coaches of the English national team. The fact that they found it difficult to make anything meaningful with the team. We've talked about Kevin Keegan, from Kevin Keegan down to the likes of Sam Allardyce now and the others. Today's Sports Live, good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is my first time. It's first calling from my tree.
Oh, Besta, good to have you. Good to have you. Your first time. Take this one. You're welcome. You're welcome. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Thank you very much. I'm a football lover. And in this Euros, I think I'm supporting France, but it's not going to be easy for them with them. I think, let me start from the England side as of last night. So when I watched that game, I was really disappointed. Considering the squad on the bench, Sancho, I don't think a guy that they are looking for with a lot of millions, you sit him on the bench, it's not a good idea. Compared to Lewis, Calvert, something like that.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very good guy that the guy is very good in scoring goals.
A lot for Everton, yes.
Yes, compared to Bukayo Saka, even on the bench there. So in fact, I don't know what the Rice was doing there absolutely.
He was selling rice.
So, yes, he was selling rice, even with that being said. So I want to talk of this Portugal side again, maybe this season. Because before I say that, in fact, this guy impressed me so much. This Scotland midfielder, talking of
Gilmore.
Billy Gilmore. Yes, the guy impressed me. He was there distributing the pass. He didn't wait for pass to come. He was hustling, looking for the pass, passing to teammates, defending where I see him with Hurricane. It was first half. It was tackling him, something like that. Then let me talk of this Portuguese side. Oh, that is not going to be easy.
Yeah.
It's not going to be. I just hope this German coach didn't make the same mistake he did last time, keeping Warner on the bench, using Sagnabri at the first night. It's not a good idea. I think he's supposed to use Warner. Warner has speed and pace. So if you use Warner top 9, it's going to work this Portuguese side. I think so.
Right.
Then use Sagnabri with this Sunny. I don't know what Sunny was even doing on the bench. Sunny should come on.
Leroy, yeah.
Yes, with Sagnabri.
All right.
Then you use Warner at the top 9. I think the defense is okay. Rodiger will be doing a lot of work.
So
there.
finally, what's your prediction?
My prediction is that it's going to be draw.
Oh, okay. Goalless or
It's
score?
gonna be 1-1 draw.
Ah, okay. You didn't tell us your name. Why? I probably just let you know.
I said it earlier. My
Okay.
name is Best.
Okay, best. Thank you so much, and once again for joining us for the first time. This is for you. All right, let's go to the next caller. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon. Hello.
Am I speaking with the sports bank?
Yes. You're live and direct. You're welcome.
God bless you. This is Oracle of Emirates.
Oracle, you're welcome. Let's hear you.
There is something that people discussed here that really gets me a little bit confused. So you are talking about the quality of player that France had, that in the next 5 years that Nigeria cannot invest in us. I don't
Next
know if
5 years?
Yes,
No, it was the money talking about.
Okay, so if you can remember 1994 squad of Nigerian Super Eagles, I don't think that 1994, if France had the same squad Nigeria had then. So what am I trying to say? That things can be changed in football. So tomorrow Nigeria can still have a better squad more than that, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much. But what we actually said was that the squad of
financial
the
worth.
French squad, the financial worth, that is, if you want to buy a French player now, let's say go to their club side, you want to buy one, in the next 5 years, our budget as a country, we didn't even talk about the national team, the national budget, the money will be bigger than the national. That's if you add currently now the price of Griezmann,
Each
Pogba,
player on this pitch
add
right
it together
now, put
in,
them together.
in naira, bring it down to naira. That's what we meant, not our individual. No, we can even in next 2 years if God helps us. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon.
God's still full of the matter.
We can hear you. Please speak up. We can barely hear you.
Okay, my name is Karabi. I'm coming from Moraji.
All right, welcome. Let's hear you. Go ahead.
I think England just did that thing yesterday deliberately because they are trying to avoid anybody who will come second in the group F. I think they just did it yesterday.
Okay. Oh, sorry, we lost you right there. Okay, see, we didn't even get a chance to look at all the groups are possible. But don't worry, let's just allow the games progress. Let's not go faster than ourselves. But he's saying that England deliberately drew the game yesterday, so they would avoid facing the winner of Group F. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. For England, I still say that they still find it difficult when it has to do with the kind of players they have, because you want to look at that team. Their manager find it difficult to select players for selection.
I just thought they should have something like Pep Guardiola in their team. If they have him, I believe their problem is over because the man knows what to do, knows who to use, can change anybody to what he wants to do.
Okay, thank you so much. Have Guardiola for the national team. That would be nice. But just that, I'm sure he'll be
It
bored
doesn't really work like that.
at some point. Yeah, it doesn't.
From
It doesn't.
club to national team.
Doesn't translate into success.
Doesn't really translate into success.
Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good
How
afternoon.
are you, sir?
I'm fine. And you?
Is in the congrats, sir?
Congrats.
Congrats.
I beg everybody here.
Good afternoon.
Let us meet you now. Tell us your name.
My name is Chima Nnaji. I'm calling from Obibo.
Okay, Chima, welcome.
Yes, sir. God bless you, sir. Here, I want to talk about this English national team.
Go ahead.
You know, English national team, they are being overrated. See, player by player analysis, they are being overrated. You know, so they love their own. They always advertise their own, they're overrated. Come to skills, they're not all that skillful. And come to the type of football they play, kick and follow football. That is the thing. So, if they compare with other nations, they cannot match them. Like a country like Holland, they have Netherlands, they are very skillful. So if you rate them like that, I mean, it's nowhere to be found because skill by skill is not. And coming to this match today, you say France will beat them, you will massacre them. No, football to me, football is not like that. I remember in 1998 World Cup, Spain was loaded with stars, but at the end of it all, Nigeria beat them hands down 3-2. It ended with that thunderbolt shot by Sunday. So what I'm trying to say is that football is not
it's not mathematics.
It's not mathematics. It's still work. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chima, for your thoughts. Football, exactly. You could be shocked. Like I said, Greece won the Euros in 2004. Nobody saw them coming. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon.
I think you can very greetings from my domain here in Orazio.
Hey, Honorable Obinna. Welcome to the show.
You don't have Manchester United chieftain.
The Manchester United chieftain.
And the chairman of Nazi Millionaires.
No, that one is when they come to the second half.
Stakeholder.
Obinna, you're welcome.
Victor, sincerely speaking, I must tell you for free that my brother that just come from Obibo has practically summarized my comments, but I will still go on and say something. The problem with England national team is two guys sitting there on the studio there. Victor, Reliance, and Ezine. Peter, that is the problem of England national team. Overhyped. Just look at Kevin Phillips that cannot even comfortably sit on the bench for Mönchengladbach in Germany. He's all over the media. Look at Sterling that cannot comfortably play for Wolfsburg. He's all over the media.
Sterling played in the Champions League final.
It's a coincidence.
That's what you think.
You know the cause. You know the cause between today's agents. He's so too strong as
and Phillips was also a regular for Leeds United this season.
You cannot tell me that a tactical coach like Guardiola will make that kind of disastrous error. But that's a topic for another day. Okay, let me tell you, 90% of those English national team players, they cannot play anywhere else apart from Premiership comfortably. Beckham scored flick from center of field everywhere, boss. Lampard score overhead free kick. They have not produced talent over the years. What they have produced is just advertorial players, media players that you and your brothers all over in the UK will not allow us to rest. That is the problem. Media is the problem of English national. Do not look at Pickford. Pickford cannot comfortably start for Arsenal. He cannot. Outside England, ever player everywhere. Is it Declan Rice? Declan Rice cannot play for Getafe. He cannot. Let them go outside. You will see what I'm telling you. These players are just. If they even rate these English players 30% of their ability, I will tell you they will win the World Cup. But you will see a player that don't have a capacity of 5%, you will keep him at 80.
That is the problem with English. That is the problem with English national team from beginning to end.
Okay. Right.
Go to a place like Germany, go to Italy, go to Spain. You will see raw. I will tell you, if a player like Kimmich is an English player, by now he will be competing with Ronaldo and Messi. But how many times did you? I'm telling you, how many times did you talk about him?
Their media is good, no doubt about that.
They are not good.
No, their media.
Their media has negative things. Look at what their media is doing to them. A good media would have prepared them to win the World Cup, but they just hide them when they come to proper tournament. They fall like pack of car. The one that is making me to go is this Sumo Phillips. He's everywhere. 2 hours last week, he won man of the match. They showed me where he snapped picture with his grandmother. I know the name of his grandmother now, Vic. The name of that boy's grandmother, I now know it from my house here in Orati. What is that? The problem of England is you people sitting over the mic there, and your brothers over there. That's the problem of England. Rating players beyond their capacity. That is the problem of England right from day one to today.
Thank you so much, Obina, for your thoughts. Well, sometimes you can't actually help it. The truth is they have a very powerful media. I don't know of the effects, but it's in both ways. Like now we are talking about praising Nigerians. You know, imagine you start praising Anthony Okputu, and at the end of the day, or Fonodo, and at the end of the day, he goes to FC Tulsa. No,
you understand?
He goes to Tulsa and cannot survive.
He doesn't cut it.
And he comes back.
That is the thing.
It becomes a problem.
That's why people say overhype.
So they actually hype players, no doubt about that. Because you're looking at the Calvin Phillips he mentioned now. There's something we talked about earlier. I think you mentioned in Reliance. If you go to Spain, like the Gonzalez we are talking about now in Real Betis that is coming to Brighton.
Yeah.
Ordinarily, if Gonzalez was in England, you'd be hearing Manchester United want to Bayern Munich and Real Madrid because they know how to push it.
They push it to
up
the
there,
faces of people.
All right, the phone line's still open.
But that doesn't mean they don't have. That doesn't mean they don't have. Let me look at this squad. I'll pick out Jadon Sancho. Leave Harry Kane. Harry Kane is a player of his own class. He's fully established. No argument about Harry Kane.
But he couldn't cut it in England at some point.
I'll pick out.
Man City had to let him go.
I'll put who Harry Kane.
Jadon Sancho.
Now that was one you could say that was just Pep Guardiola. That was just Pep Guardiola. You understand?
But they had to let him go.
That was just Pep Guardiola because you're not going to tell me. I mean, there's this argument about Jadon Sancho and Phil Foden. You understand? Which of them? I mean, I think Guardiola was asked about allow Jadon Sancho go, but that's by the way. I'll pick out Jadon Sancho. All right. I'll pick out Mason Mount. I criticized Mason Mount a lot under Frank Lampard, but Thomas Tuchel came in and brought out the brilliance, the brilliance of Mason Mount.
You pick out
so it was even better.
Too.
So I'll pick out Mason Mount. I could possibly pick out Reece James as well.
You won't pick out Harry Kane.
No, he said that's
Harry Kane is outstanding.
Okay, it's outstanding. Okay.
Outstanding.
Okay.
So I could pick out these three. Leave Jordan Henderson. Leave Jordan Henderson, Harry Kane, them. You know, but the rest are just within that level.
Like Henderson, I think Henderson is one of those players under that hype banner because most times I ask myself, what exactly? I know they'll tell me no. The Liverpool fans will usually argue that which could be true. If you take the man out, you find out what, just like in Didi. Sometimes you think he doesn't do anything. You know, but ordinarily
Hungary are about to make it 1 goal to nothing, and Hungary have taken the lead.
I told you that anything
they
can happen
have
in this
taken
game,
the lead.
If you watch Hungary first game,
in additional minutes of the first half,
additional minutes of the first 45 minutes.
They just did that.
Wow, it's been they've been
and look
coming.
At the
they've been coming wisdom. They've been coming.
It's annoying.
Enjoy the excitement. Let's get back to the phone lines. Today's first live. Good afternoon.
It's Superman of 4.
Hey, I greet you.
Thank you very much. Well, let me continue where my friend. Let me continue where my friend stop. I think I have been 100% today. I mean,
okay.
I said it last week. If you can remember in your show, that England, some people are teaching England to win. I'm not laughing. They are not tournament team. They are just a bunch of noise makers. So they don't even have liver to win any trophy. If they like, let them parade the best players in England. At the end of the day, when they go to competition, they will knock them out. England don't have liver. See, let me tell you, let me surprise everybody. If they should put Nigeria Super Eagles in this Euro, Super Eagles will win Euro before England.
Okay. I thought you wanted to say this year's Euro, but yeah, I understand.
I mean before England.
Okay, yeah. No, very true. We've won how many Nations Cup since then? Yes.
If two of them continue going to this Euro every 4 years, Super Eagles will win this Euro before England. England, they are not free. They are just noise maker. And one of the things, if you watch all the teams now, even the Italian teams that are not using abroad players, English players, they are not going outside. They want to play only in Premiership just because they thought that their league is the best in the world.
No, but their league is the best actually.
Look at the Spanish league. The Spanish league, if Spanish players are they not going outside Spain to play?
Yeah, and that will help you mature. Very true.
German players are they not going outside? The French players are they not going? The Italian players they not going outside. So at least he moves up with others. Not when they come, they will be using only Premiership mentality to play in their national team, and it will not work. And it's just because of their sentiment, because they are highly sentimental. English people. Some people they say they know Sabi level. If you watch some people that are even trying it, they borrowed England. You see, when they use it, they will dump nothing.
You want to say they are borrowed talent?
They are just borrowed talent that will even destroy you. That you are rejoicing. I'll be playing a Three Lions. I want a Three Lions shirt. See,
but you know, to play for England is very competitive, actually.
I want to ask you.
You can ask Tammy Abraham.
Superman. Okay, Tammy Abraham, where is he gone or Tammy Abraham now? Where is he gone? Jordan Hyde. They call him Jordan Ibe.
No,
it's not Jordan Ibe. It's Jordan Hyde. Where is he hiding now? Where is he hiding now? And the other one. Who like this tambourine or what? I don't know. If you have sense, you should decide early now. Because at the end of the day, what happened to others will also happen to him. As a player, I cannot nationalize in England. I'm a child in France. I'm very sure before 8 years. Before I retire from the national team, I will win something. I can national in Germany.
But it took France years to win the World Cup.
I will win something. Because England, nothing for them. I mean, nothing for them. They will qualify for the future because of even if they not qualify as first and second, they will qualify as one of the best losers. But they are not going anywhere at the end of the day. Thank you.
Simon, thank you so much.
A big point.
You people are on England today.
Quickly, wisdom.
But they've got some players.
I don't think it's a wrong thing for them to actually play in the English Premier League when the environment.
It's just like telling Egyptian players to come and play in the
MPFL. They've created their league. It's conducive. It's good. It's one of the best league when
they have the best coaches, best players to play for them.
You don't make it. I don't think that should be a criteria that the players don't go that far.
A quick question
to play.
Why don't the way clubs in England go poaching players of different nations in other leagues, why don't clubs outside come poaching English national team players like that? Apart from Hurricane that might be in the picture.
English players are very expensive. I think you have to take that into cognizance. They're very expensive.
No, they actually poach Premier League players.
They poach, but
let's start.
The Premier League players.
Let's start. I'm not saying Premier League player. I mean players in the English national team players in the Premier League.
We're saying the same thing.
No, we're not saying the same thing. I'm saying about Coach Rashford that is from England. I'm talking about a James that is from England. I'm talking about a Mason Mount that is from England.
Do you know how
it is now you're narrowing it down to English player.
No matter how expensive they are, we still have clubs go to buy players.
You can't buy
from other nations.
The money that Manchester United want to sell it to.
Hello.
Okay, wait. Reliance, you have a point.
How much was what's his name? How much was Neymar bought for? How much was
Do you know that money that the one that's
What's his
problem.
name?
That
That
one even
140 million pounds, if I'm not mistaken.
Who?
That Coutinho was signed for Liverpool.
You're calling Brazilians.
And I'm calling players from different nations in the Premier League that are bought.
Relax, off your mic
So
first.
no matter how expensive they are, you can't tell me that players can clubs can't afford them.
Wait, isn't it you two? Wait, two of you are right, but you need to understand. You're correct. Their names, is the truth. You've not seen a Raheem Sterling. Everybody wants them, but go and pay that 150 or 200 million pounds. They've not paid. Now it is the papers in England that will tell you Sterling is going to PSG. Sterling can only go for 300. But the truth is, most of those players are too expensive for what they are worth.
They are not worth it. That's the point. That's why clubs are not willing to spend the money for them.
They are
not worth it.
And she's right.
They are not worth it.
Why is Manchester United value
you are taking a player at 200 million pounds. And clubs from outside, the likes of Real Madrid, Barca, PSG, they know that these guys are not really worth the amount. They can't deliver up to that quality, so they won't pay the money. So, but why would they come? Why would they? Okay, so now why would they come paying for Coutinho, for instance, as a Brazilian national a Brazil player, 440 million pounds? Why would they be willing to pay for maybe Eden Hazard, for instance? So why would they be willing to pay for players from different nations? But when it comes to English nationals in the Premier League, they are not willing to go, except Manchester United is willing to buy Harry Maguire for 85 million pounds.
No, Reliance.
Except Manchester United is bent on bringing back Jadon Sancho for 100 and something million pounds, when you know it's not worth it. It's like the English clubs trying to shoot the market value of their national team players.
Are very expensive. You can't rule that out.
You're correct. No, are you telling me?
Let's talk about the German Bundesliga.
Reliance, you've made your point. Isn't it? Wait. Two of you are actually correct, and I can't see the point of this argument, because he's right. They are overhyped in price. You two, you're right. Overhyped means they are too expensive to buy. That's what it means. So if he says that the price is inflated, it is because of the currency level in England, which is what you need to also understand. In England, they can afford to pay. That's why Napoli told you that you must pay 200 million pounds for Koulibaly, because the English teams, they've got the money to spend, and they've got a highly competitive scene in terms of cash. So I think you're right, isn't it? And he's correct. But you have to understand no. I would allow you to talk. Now, what she said was that they are too expensive. What Elias said is that they are overhyped, which means the prices are. It's just like you selling a phone, for example. Let's say you want to buy a particular phone, and they are telling you that this phone is, let's say, 20,000 naira, and I know this phone is not worth 20,000. When I can get the same phone quality in Germany for 5,000. Why will I then go and pay? So most times, because if you say they don't go, I think it's not fair. David Beckham went for a record price. You can go back again and talk about Steve McManaman. But the truth is, before they cough out this money to ever pay for an English player, the player has to be equal to the price. And in reality, anything in England is overpriced. Jack Grealish, for me, is not worth 100 million pounds. But Declan Rice is not worth the money they are calling. So, Ezine, have the floor.
So I was saying, when it comes to, if you're talking about looking for talent, right from time, we don't actually look at the English Premier League, because most times when you talk about the price, they don't actually do that. The English football, the EPL, they are poachers. They go to other clubs. They go to Germany to actually get those stars. They go to Belgium. They go to different countries, and then they make something good out of them, and then they sell them expensive. I don't think you want to. I think the problem here is, one, the English ref first. You want to talk about the media. They overhype these players, and then those players, most times they already have an enabling environment. They don't wish to actually
everybody
move
wants
far.
to play in
They don't
England.
really want to move far.
Sarah Murphy wants to play in England. Onachu wants to play in
because
England,
that's where you
not
get the
Spain.
highest viewership. Who watches you? It's in the English Premier League. Before you leave that play, you have to think, the next place I'm going, how conducive is their environment? How much will I thrive there? You want to talk about when Messi's contract about Manchester City, they were able to get him. But when you talk about the price,
the platform
they also
is
talk.
really good.
You think about that before you get an English player. The price is high. Those
English
clubs
Premier
will not
League,
cough it out.
English
you
Premier
want,
League,
even
cool.
and talk about Dortmund. Why didn't Manchester United buy him? Because of the price that Dortmund put for Sancho. Because they felt it's too high. No, forgetting that they paid 80 million naira for Harry Maguire and you couldn't pay 120. That is just, they started that trend. When you sign players for that kind of amount, I think they actually spoiled the transfer market. That's the whole thing. Starting from that Neymar's buy, you had them. I think then even Torres when he was bought, I think 50 million naira.
Yeah,
50 million pounds. Sorry. That's, you think the transfer market is going bad. First, recently, even can you imagine? I think Aston Villa, is it Aston Villa that actually won Arsenal in a transfer buy just because they were able to pay that money?
For Buendia.
When you come to the EPL, it's just there. When it comes to the money, they make that count for their players.
Let's hear from the callers. 0817 before we get back to Copa America. 0817 0000951. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon.
Obina, reliance is very, very correct. Ejine is correct. You know the difference? Reliance is very, very correct, but Ejine is just correct. Let me tell you something, Obina. You remember when Wisha was tagged at 80 million pounds? Wisha.
Yeah.
Thank you. When Ejine tell me is enabling environment, I disagree. We know how much other things play players. Are you telling me that if I have a capacity of 30% capacity and I will be playing for Manchester United, meanwhile I know that with 50% capacity I will not play at Villarreal? You tell me I should go to Villarreal? These guys are just, it's not as if they are expensive for teams to pay. Atletico Madrid paid how much to a player in Portugal?
Yeah, Felix, 190 million pounds.
How much?
About 190 million pounds for Yao Felix.
How much did Atletico Madrid pay for Lima? It's not Real Madrid or Barcelona. Atletico Madrid paid 100 and something million pounds for a player in Portugal.
That's because transfer market is spoiled already. It's already bad.
It's not. The English players, irrespective of their other teams, know that they are not worth it. They are not expensive. They are not worth it, and the players are not willing to move because they know within themselves that their capacity. Most of them, I will tell you that you can pick 10 English players. I don't think currently there is any English player that can play in a standard Barcelona team currently, apart from Harry Kane, Elias rightly said. Most of these English players playing in Man U, Man City. Let me just add Liverpool. It will be like no. Man U, Man City, Chelsea. They cannot play in Valencia. They cannot play there. When Owen Hargreaves was playing for Bayern Munich, go check. The only English player as big as England that is playing outside the EPL. These guys are just overly overhyped. So more capacity with big talk. That is what I get angry when I hear about their discussion. I look at Henderson. Can Henderson keep for how many English players can play for Real Sociedad? Go and watch Spanish league and you see raw talent. Go to Germany, you see people. Look at Watkins in England to buy players for championship, 30-something million pounds. A player that cannot play for River Valladolid. Oh my God.
Obina, off your mic.
I need to ask Obina, how come he's supporting Manchester United with all these fans, all these arrays of stars?
Isn't it welcome? Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, let me go into the argument of none of English team will play or player will play in Barcelona team. I just want to give Messi this full respect because he has proven himself reasonable that.
Messi.
For me, if you remove Messi from Barcelona team, Man City bench can play for Barcelona team. Man City second 11.
No, it's not this Barcelona now. When I know where you are going. You are talking about the reference made.
Just allow him finish. Please go ahead.
So I've heard the caller saying that this person that none of English players.
That's the thing. I know you're going there.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much for your thoughts. I'm trying to look at the transfers. I'm just getting his top transfers I want to get every year, so it will be easier to maybe buttress some points. But in reality, the English Premier League is the most followed league. I mean, in this part of the world,
it generates a lot of revenue.
Their media is massive. You don't need to like it. They have a good media, and it's working. But the truth is, it also has its own disadvantages. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon. Wisdom.
Albert, good afternoon to you. You're welcome.
Good afternoon to all of you out there. So,
Good afternoon.
yeah, you know, when this, you asked me a question before, when it was about, I talked about the English leadership. So happy to everybody saying something. You can never see how many external players can they boost of Indian national team? Just one, you understand. Though they have something in England that's working for them, you understand. The media is good and their Sky Sports has done very well. The publicity is nice, that's why, and the league is good. And then they have pumped a lot of money, so people think the players are so fantastic because you can see them playing over there in United or maybe take them Liverpool. When they left the club, move elsewhere, you see, they're not the kind of football they play in England, you understand, they are the football. They play 1860 football, you understand? They don't have a normal pattern, and the kind of operation they have, they believe in their professional football. That's why they find it difficult. When there's any competition, when they're going there, they will not win it. So they have to adjust under the traditional football. Because you see when Brazil was the World Cup, there's something they did. After then, they asked them, what's the name of this guy? David Luiz. So they decided to play that pattern of football. They don't want to play the samba, you understand? So that's why they could not get past in the World Cup. And when they went to the World Cup, they were disgraced by Germany. So they began to blame the players. So we have a one tradition of which is samba. So when I will start playing this kick and follow football. So when that World Cup, you see how they are playing that World Cup. They didn't play the normal tradition, you understand? They play kick and follow football. So that is what Israel is playing now. So I don't see them. Maybe the players, they're not that just bad like that. But the average players. But they need to leave the tradition and move on to see how they can change the style of play. So they can win anything.
All right. Thank you so much, Albert, for your thoughts. All right. I'm not trying to maybe support any angle, but if you look at the record transfers, I mean, when they say England has destroyed the transfer market, maybe in the last 5 years, because they are not the ones who always break the record. I would explain. Roberto Baggio moved from Juventus, joined Juventus for £8 million in 1990. That was the record at the time. I think from Florence. That's joining Juve. Jean-Pierre Papin, French guy, joined AC Milan from Marseille. He scored 38 goals in 44 matches and moved on to AC Milan. And it was also a record at the time, £10 million. So he broke the world record. Gianluca Vialli, Juventus yet again broke the transfer record by signing Vialli from Sampdoria in 1990 for £12.5 million in his first season. It actually did help them win the UEFA Cup. Gianluigi Lentini, for £13 million, he moved to Milan from Torino in 1992. That was another Italian side breaking the record. Ronaldo, that's talking about Ronaldo de Lima. He became the world's most expensive player twice. Barcelona paid PSV £13.2 million before Inter spent £19.5 million to sign him the following year. That's Italian side too. And a Spanish side now entering the picture, breaking the world record. Alan Shearer, this is the only time England entered the picture. Alan Shearer, sandwiched in between Ronaldo's two moves, was the first time an English club had broken the world first time record since 1951. He left Blackburn to join Newcastle for £15 million. So it was the first time England had broken the world since 1951.
That was actually within
the Italians.
Within England, right?
Yes.
Blackburn to Newcastle.
I'm saying world. For the world now.
Yeah.
When you say
England about the
record, that was a move from England. No, I'm not talking about where he went to. I'm looking at who spoiled the transfer.
I'm interested in it. Was Blackburn to Newcastle.
It
wasn't Blackburn to.
I'm looking at who spoiled
to Corinthians in Brazil. Go ahead.
Danielson moved from. He joined Real Betis for £21.5 million, broke the world record in 1998, even though the next 2 years they were relegated. That's a story for another day. Christian Vieri moved to Inter for £32.5 million.
They were thinking was going to form this wonderful partnership with Ronaldo, but injuries denied the deadly duo linking up regularly. But Vieri still went on to hit over 120 goals for the Nerazzurri, but that was the record then too. He signed from Lazio. Another Italian side though. We've only mentioned one English team, and Barcelona, who did they lead to before Inter broke it again. Hernan Crespo. A year after selling Vieri, Lazio raided one of the best called teams at the 1990s. Crespo joined for £35 million from Parma. Another world record broken by another Italian side. Luis Figo, one of the most controversial moves of all time. Figo did the unthinkable to start turning his back on the Camp Nou to join Real Madrid. £37 million. World record. This is the second time a Spanish team is entering, and that's when Real Madrid started their pattern. Zinedine Zidane, Juventus to Real Madrid for £6.6 million. Kaká, Real Madrid. £56 million. Cristiano Ronaldo, Real Madrid. £80 million from England. Gareth Bale from England. And for
is Paul Pogba not in that list?
To Real Madrid, and of course Paul Pogba too. Manchester United. That was the second time in over 20 years that Manchester English teams came into the picture. Then Neymar, the last man, now for 222 million euros. So it's not actually. I think maybe we'll share the blame. Blame Italy, blame Spain a little for spoiling the transfer market. But as per overhyped players.
You blame England.
I think the truth is, if I go to England today, if I go to England today, I'm moving now. If I go to England today from Enyimba, automatically, if I left Enyimba for 5 million, automatically I am worth £25 million. Even without currently, or maybe in the season here, natural moved, it was 10 or 15. These days is moving. Once I leave Enyimba to join Aston Villa, and I play 3 matches and I score 2 goals, I am automatically worth £25 million.
That's not even a thing. If you're an English national, let's start from there.
No, first.
If you're an indigenous of England,
without being your value.
I'm wrapping up. I'm coming. Now, yes, if you just get to England, your price doubles automatically. They picked Lukaku from I think £18 million or so from Belgium. As he came to England, his price has been skyrocketing ever since. So you come to England, it doubles. Then if you're an English player, just for playing for an English team there, the national team pays you when they invite that player to the national team. They pay you thousands of pounds. And not you risking an African player where you would even take the player to go and treat the player if he gets injured. Nobody gives you anything. And of course, if they qualify for major tournaments, it's even a big deal. World Cup, you get mega money for having an English player, or good money, maybe not mega, for having an English player. So the truth is, if you're a football fan, you would agree with me that the English players are always overhyped. Marcus Rashford, if I talk now, United fans will think that it's because of Marcus Rashford. A player plays just one thing and they start comparing him with Ronaldo. I think it's unfair.
It started with if you recall, it's Januzaj. There was Januzaj in Manchester United.
No, maybe you're talking about Januzaj is even maybe a foreigner.
Yeah,
he's a foreigner.
Jack Wilshere. Jack Wilshere was called names, and I was begging these people, allow this boy to mature first before you start calling him all these big
names. Greenwood.
Now Greenwood has not even done one. The partnership of 1992, the squad of 94. And you don't even allow these boys to, not because they are bad players. I will still say it. England have got fine players and potential. But potential will have, look at Ronaldo. If Ronaldo was hyped in Portugal before he even kicked one ball, the drive might not be there today. But Ronaldo scored goals in Sporting Lisbon and he had to come to United. He had to work out his salvation with fear and trembling in England.
I'm telling you.
And he still moved on to Spain to continue working.
And he's still doing it in Italy.
Anyway, let's get to the test before we move on to talk about other things. Time really fast spent. Sorry, I will get back to the phone lines when the time comes. Why is Southgate not playing Chilwell? I don't think that coach is serious. Anyway, France all the way and Kante for world best. Amechi Christian. I said it some time ago and they said no. It was just for a few games. If France wins this Euro 2020, I would see how many players that would measure up with Kante. I'm just saying. It doesn't mean there are no players, but I'm just saying. The English national team are not a business side. They don't take the game serious. It's not about the coach, but the entire management of the FA. Fab from Umwebulo. Okay, Nigerians fans keep criticizing England. England keep reaching quarters or semi-finals of the World Cup.
Keep reaching, like keep reaching.
Wait now. Yes, quarter-finals and semi-finals.
Okay.
The person did not say
Quarter-finals,
and semi-finals. Yes.
But not semi-finals.
No, quarter-finals.
Quarter-finals.
No,
I'll accept quarter-finals.
No, if you put
I won't accept semi-finals.
No,
Nows.
okay, quarter-finals or according to the
and
text.
semi-final.
Allow me finish the text. Nigerian fans keep criticizing England. England keep reaching quarter or semi-finals of World Cup. Why Nigeria have never crossed round? Reliance. Why would I leave a league where I can be paid up to 200k a week to go and play the league that they can't pay up to 400k? Everton pays better wages than Dortmund and Atletico. Uzoma, I completely agree with
The
you.
environment is enabling for them to try.
I will always say that if you watch Spanish league, you'll be asking, when you see some things in England, you just keep quiet. Why are they dancing? Because players, like Suso, when Suso left, Suso tried Liverpool, it didn't work out. Suso was dazzling in Spain, dribbling. But the same thing Suso would do. I'll see Rashford just do small. Everybody will clap. I'll see what's this boy in Liverpool? Then I don't know this boy in Liverpool. I'm trying to get his name. An English boy too.
Is he an old or is he an old player?
I'll get his name. He will just display a little too, and everybody will be clapping. Somebody just, even when Bale was coming up, Bale was fantastic anyway. He was an exceptional talent. And when I saw him play as a left back, I just knew this boy.
Let me quickly
but
answer.
it was also clear that this player was being padded.
Let me quickly answer to that SMS. Let me quickly answer to that SMS.
But
it's not even about it's spot on. It's not even that one. I'm talking about the person that said,
okay,
why Everton, why would I leave where I'm paid better, maybe to Dortmund where Everton possibly pay better wage than Dortmund, which I agree.
Quickly.
Now it's not even about that. It's about
no, it's about that too.
No.
It's about the money.
My argument, you guys should calm down. My argument is not even that's true. It's not even about living. It's about Real Madrid, for instance, or Dortmund. Okay, let me even leave Dortmund because German Bundesliga clubs, they are not known for spending awesome amount of money.
They are known for selling.
Real Madrid have not even made an honest offer, as in drop an offer on the table, make you reject for an English national team.
You know the last time they won world best. You know the last time those people tasted world best. Last time they were close was Gary Lineker in 1991 or so.
I think there was a time Lampard was among the top three.
That's top three. I'm talking about I think Lineker either won. Lineker was number 2. He either won. I think he either won UEFA the best or something like that. I think UEFA best or something like that.
So why is it not that honest offer? Like last time, drop a money on the table and you reject because
when was the last time Nigerian player was?
Because that leave Nigeria alone. No. So that is the thing. It's not even about living to go to where they are better. Let Barca, let PSG, let Juve, let them even drop the offer on the table. And the player said, club are willing to sell, but I'm not going because they are not going to pay all. Valadelli comes, drop an offer. I mean, that's what we are talking about.
Anything can happen. Let's look at Harry Kane. He never
leave Harry Kane. Harry Kane is just Harry Kane is just one.
If you are
one in a million.
If you are Barcelona, how much will you pay for Harry Kane? Sincerely.
If you take the current
leave current.
No, you have to.
How much would you pay for? Leave an analysis. How much would you pay for?
It's worth 80
million pounds. But do you know the English media press wants him to go for 200 million?
That's the thing.
It is what it is. Let's leave it at that. That explains the whole discussion. Buttresses your point and also buttresses his point. Let's quickly move on and talk about the Euros quickly before we talk about transfers.
La Copa América lo confirmó. Porque la fiesta ya empezó.
Well, I tell you, I would listen to this song over and over again. Not because I hear too much. A little of Spanish, they would say maybe a little. But I tell you, it's really nice when they do these very nice songs for tournaments. I don't like the very boring ones that makes us look very serious. But Lionel Messi, Copa America now, not Copa America. Lionel Messi set up the winner as Argentina edged rivals Uruguay 1-0 to claim their first victory of the 2021 Copa America in Brasilia on Friday. Argentina, who have not lifted the Copa America since 1993, had drawn 1-1 with Chile
in their opening game, but secured 3 points thanks to Guido Rodriguez's first international goal in the 13th minute. Messi pulled the strings for 14-time Copa runners-up La Albiceleste, beating finalists in 2015 and 2016, by the way, with his cross from the left flank, finding Real Betis midfielder Rodriguez for his winner, which snapped Argentina's run of 3 consecutive draws while extending their unbeaten streak to 15 matches. Uruguay, playing their first game of this year's CONMEBOL tournament, were left frustrated by a resolute Argentina while they were left to bemoan a first half penalty shout which was turned down. All right, by the way, to buttress what we were talking about earlier, Rodriguez did really well for Real Betis. I hear he will be joining Everton, and if he'll be joining Brighton, and if I tell you the fee, you'll be shocked. But I tell you, if he was in England, he would be probably going for 4 or 5 times that amount. But Ezinde, what does it mean? Argentina on the move.
It's a good one for them.
After their first match.
Their first match ended in a 1-1 draw with Chile, in which Messi scored, and later there was an equalizer at some point, which dampened the morale of the team. They were really happy. You want to talk about the Copa America? Argentina have been calling in most in the last 5 editions. They have been in the finals thrice. Still no win for that man Lionel Messi, no laurels to actually show for his national side. You would say it's a good way for them to go against an Uruguayan side that has Edison Cavani, that has Sergio Aguero in there. So it's a good one for them, but still it won't be easy. You have the Brazilians.
Sorry to cut you. I'm sure maybe somehow I got into the mic. We're talking about the fans of Hungary.
But Wisdom, is there no COVID in this country?
I know, I told you, Wisdom. They had 60,000 capacity stadium filled up in the first game.
Come back.
No, that's the whole thing.
If I want to use my own receipt to the fullest,
I'm only asking.
See, they said everybody go to the bar and eat. If I want to actually eat to the fullest, I don't think it should be anybody's.
No, they didn't complain about
business though. It's you who wants to observe your own in England. But by the way, the fans are really cheering.
But is it no COVID? Is it no COVID there?
The Hungarians,
I think they have. I told Wisdom about it. Even the game against Portugal, they really gave the Portugal team a fight, because the fans, they could boo. You would hear them all loud. There's a massive support for the. You want to say those countries that play at home, they actually have let's say they are 12 against 11 when it comes to their own competition, and that is standing out for them. Going back to the Copa America, Wisdom, Brazil, they are doing so well. They've not lost. They are defending champions. They won their last game, in which Neymar scored. So it won't be easy for Argentina, but I think they might still give a run. They will give a stake, but winning, it's one problem with Argentina. They don't have that win spirit, that team play. That's way they've not been able to get it. They have good when it comes to the players. They have them, but getting a medal, it has been hard for them. Knowing that they've won this Copa America 14 times, but it's been quite long since they touched their hand on that trophy. Let's see how it was that, but it's not easy when it comes to laurels. You don't want to tip Argentina, because at the end they just tend to disappoint when you think they can do it.
All right, and talking about the Argentines, we'll get back to that particular game, but Reliance, we've seen the Brazilians, the Samba boys. You can't talk about record of transfers and you not find their name there. Sometimes I just wish that Nigeria could live up to the expectation. Some people call Nigeria they call the Brazil of Africa, because of the number of players they have all over the world, not because of what they are doing on the field, but because the number of players we have all over. I just wish we could actually be like them. I mean, in terms of stars, but they're doing well. They've won all. They did beat. They did get it right in their very first. Neymar, like she mentioned, they beat Peru 4-0 in that particular one that took place yesterday. But are your favorites still? You don't even have favorites, Reliance, most times. So are they? Is it still clear that what Lionel Messi is saying? Lionel Messi is not saying. Please, he did not say he will win Copa America this year. There's this short clip that goes around every time they crash out of the Champions League.
Where he said
the trophy is gonna bring. So he didn't say anything about. He's urging his teammates that please, please let's help ourselves. Please, let's just take away this. Let's win this thing and win one thing. something substantial for once. But we're looking at the Brazilians. The Chileans are on one side. Make no mistake about it. The Chileans are a very decent side on a good day, and they're a better bunch than some players.
Argentina.
They're a better bunch than the Argent in terms of team chemistry.
Yeah.
Arturo Vidal, Isla, Gary Medel. We can talk about Eduardo Vargas, Charles Arangui, some very Claudio Bravo. But who are your favorites for the tournament? Looking at the results so far, Argentina 1 draw, 1 win.
Clearly, it's going to be Brazil. What France, the kind of team possessed by France in Europe, is a similar team possessed by Brazil in America. That's not to make comparison player to player, more like it, but I'm talking about quality and where they're applying their traits in different clubs, top clubs, each of them, and you're looking at the Brazilian national team where their players are more like it in their best of forms in their different leagues as well as different clubs. So they are clearly the favorites. They've shown that already by the number of wins they've been able to manage. That's not management, I mean, by the number of wins they've won so far, and then the results they've been able to put as well. So clearly the favorite. I don't know how the standings are at the moment because I've not had
Argentina are on top of their group. Argentina followed by Chile in their own group now. Let me just let me run us through that. Argentina have played 2 matches. They've got 4 points. Chile are second. They've played 2 matches. They've got 4 points. Paraguay, they've played 1 match. They've got 3 points. Uruguay, 1 match, 0 points. The one they lost against Argentina. Bolivia, you know where they belong. They are just there.
I just needed the top 4 more like it.
So top 4: Argentina, Chile, Paraguay, Uruguay. Now 1-1 game for Paraguay and Uruguay. I'll get us the
group A. Like it, because we have 2 groups, group A and group B.
Group B should be,
how do they call it? The South group. I mean, the South cover. This is where they call it.
For that group now, that's the same group. You have the likes of Colombia, Venezuela, and Brazil. Brazil are on top. They've got 6 points from 2 games. Colombia are second, 4 points from 2 games. Venezuela, 2 games but 1 point. Ecuador, 0 points but just 1 game. Peru, just 1 game, 0 points.
All right, I don't know how things are going to change much later, but I counted Uruguay as one of the favorites. Yes, the reason why I did that was because in each department, from the defense, midfield, and attack, at least they've gotten at least one person that can spearhead that position. Edison Cavani is from Uruguay, isn't he? Diego Godin is a Uruguayan, isn't he? That's the defense. Then at the midfield, there's somebody they have, which I can't remember the name, but I knew that they have a pivotal player at the midfield for the Uruguayan side as well. So I look at that and I look at those players in their respective clubs. They've been fantastic in terms of performance, at least going by form. So they are carrying that form into their national team, even though at times it's always completely different. It depends. I mean, it takes a very tactical or maybe technical as well coach to be able to translate what you've been able to do for your club, at least do something close to that for the national team. That's why I tipped Uruguay for it, but I'm not going to look past Chile as well. So these are more like
Federico Valverde. I think that's who he's talking about. Or Lucas Torreira. Or Rodrigo Benchanco.
So they've got players, in that midfield. But the thing is, the teams that I think if they get to the final, they could truly win it. All right, depending on the opponents, know that, but they have that that might
to get it done,
to win it. Brazil clearly, Chile clearly, Uruguay clearly. I'm not going to count Argentina because several years, they've equalized.
Antoine Griezmann.
Several years, they've flattered to deceive, more like it. Antoine Griezmann have made it.
The caller who predicted a draw
is still on.
Is still on. So somehow it's now 1-1.
But again, wisdom. Let me comment the how do we call them now?
The Hungarians.
The Hungarians. Yeah. Let me comment them. They are playing not really beautiful football, but there's something that's going for them in this match. First off, the stamina of each player, and then coupled with the pace of the players. Each time they are sent forward, they leave only 3 players up front. So 3 minus 10, they have 7 players backing up the defense and then the midfield. And then the 3 that are going up front, each time they are sent forward, are with this level of accuracy and understanding and communication among them. So they can quickly interchange passes and hunt the France national team. And that's because the French are keeping high line. Now, they are getting this goal because they've refused to do the domination they did in the first half. They were playing possessive football in the first half, and that is why the Hungarians were able to hit them with a quick counter that took them time to regroup because of the pace of the players up front. But right now in the second half, they're not really playing possessive football. They are more direct than before the France national team, and now they've gotten it. So basically, wisdom to wrap it up in Copa America is clearly Brazil, Chile, Uruguay, and maybe Argentina will just find themselves somewhere because of the arrays of stars they parade. I call them the English national team of America.
All right, I would actually call them bread without butter or a bunch without oil. Jose Mourinho said he's ready to embark on another mission impossible after Roma reignited his passion for football. Former Inter head coach Mourinho will return to Serie A in the 2021-2022 after being appointed by Roma following his Tottenham sacking in April. Quoting him, he said, "They really wanted me." Mourinho told GQ Portugal, "It was almost instantly. Me leaving Tottenham in the morning and Roma calling me in the afternoon. They wanted me a lot and we're objective. Something I had already felt throughout my years in Italy was the Italian passion when it comes to football, specifically around Roma, a club that has won no trophies in 20 years. These are new owners who have a very humble approach in a way that they recognized this was a new chapter in their amazing professional lives, a chapter in which they needed help from someone with a broad experience. They were very honest and straightforward, and I immediately felt this passion I have for my work. So I didn't have to think too much about it because they really touched me with their approach. I really liked it." By the way, Mourinho only won 51.2% of his matches at Tottenham and left without lifting a single trophy. Albeit he was sacked just days.
The person that wrote that report, deserves to be flogged.
Just before the 2021 EFL Cup final. All right, a quick one, guys, before we talk about transfer. We're already there because we are moving to Tottenham. That's why I had to mention that. Ezine, Mourinho said they've reignited his passion. Is there still something left in Mourinho to offer?
I think firstly, I think Mourinho is just trying to give us another headline as something he usually does, saying that going to Roma is to reignite his passion for football. I don't think that will work that way, but we haven't seen the last of Mourinho. You might say maybe his tactics, the way he goes with his game plan, it's not really working as will I say age and time has actually caught up with him. His tactics, the way he plays his football, he does more of a physical kind of game where he does the defense and they break you on a counter. Those kind of tactics doesn't usually pay off lately. But going to Roma, I think Mourinho actually made that decision. I'm part of those people that felt he took that decision quite too early. Wisdom, if it was to be now, I don't think Mourinho will accept an AS Roma for a job because there are lots of opportunity now. He can't do that. He can't do that.
You say if it was now?
Yes, because there
where
are
would he go to?
No, there are lots of opportunity.
Where is better than Roma?
No. Real Madrid. Don't forget that Real Madrid. I think they're doing like a crop rotation of their coaches. You had Zidane. He left. You brought in, and someone else, he left. You brought in
Carlo.
Yes.
Because Don Carlo is better than every other person in the market. Again.
Now you brought in Carlo Ancelotti. I think they're just doing the same thing. Maybe if they might even sack him later and go back and look for this person Mourinho. But I think if it was to be now that he was sacked, it wouldn't have been an AS Roma. There are other clubs that he would have gone for. I just feel maybe some clubs are not being too ambitious at this point. You have like Manchester United that has you have an Antonio Conte is actually free, and you are still leaving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who has no. I think he doesn't have the mentality.
Why you bring Man United?
It's very important. It's very important because if you want
you're
to win
Lawrence,
no, it's not trouble. If you're looking
why are you calling Ole in Mourinho's matter?
No, I'm just saying. And for I don't want to go to Tottenham first because that was one they are confused set of people. But I think Mourinho is not finished. But when you say maybe he might give a mark, maybe he might help them fight for the title. But I don't really see them winning. I don't see him bring. Maybe he might bring out that one thing that is sure is that Mourinho will bring in and expose. He will bring more.
He will win trophy for them.
Let's forget about. He's not going to win any.
He's going to win trophy for Inter, even if he's Coppa for Roma.
But
even if it's Coppa Italia, he will deliver for.
I don't see
Roma.
them.
Let me tell you why he said what he said.
I don't see them.
This is not the first time Roma are hunting for Mourinho. They hunted for him even before he signed for the Tottenham job. But he just needed that Tottenham job, all right? So that's why he's saying what he's saying. They're reuniting and all that. Roma have always been wanting Jose Mourinho for the club. So it's more like a match because they've been wanting him, and he loves kind of Italian football, where he has been there with Inter, won the Champions League and all that. So that's why he said what he said. I'll also tell you why Mourinho decided to take a job at Roma. I criticized him heavily for taking the Tottenham job. But let me tell you why. Mourinho is looking at building. He's looking at building. Yes, that's what Mourinho is interested in these days. Else, he wouldn't take the Tottenham job. Secondly, he wouldn't take the Roma job.
He took the Roma job when there were no other vacancies.
No, that's not true.
There were no vacancies.
No,
again.
it's not true.
Which vacancies?
Mourinho is looking at building a project. All right, Mourinho is not really. See, you could see the flashes when he was at Tottenham. It's not really that Mourinho again that will just get player. Even if you are 30, 34, he gets you, get the result 1 season, 2 season out. He's looking at building a project, more like a little bit of a long-term project. That's why he took the Tottenham job in the first place. And that's why he's even taking the Roma job, apart from the fact that Roma have always been hunting for Jose Mourinho. Else he won't take it. See, there've been wisdom told you that the reports that Madrid wanted Jose Mourinho. All right. So
they wanted
Mourinho is a coach that is guys always
Roma. There will be no need for this argument if we understand that they called Mourinho the afternoon after he was sacked. The morning. So you there was no time to think of choices
because they've been all that like. See, it's like wisdom. Let me paint it for you. Let me paint it for you. All right.
Now, you expect it?
A company have been looking for you. They came for you in the past.
They look for people now.
Explain why they want you. That they want to employ you, and you're like, no, there's a job somewhere I can't. Another opportunity open. They came for you again. Now at this point, you are fired when you had ambition and a project for a club, and you're fired at the very wrong time. This club have been looking for you in the past. No, so what would you do? What again are you thinking of?
If you
just have to accept the job.
If I read it again, maybe it's, like I said, it would. There's no need for this argument. It doesn't really. I don't think it's really necessary because
he didn't have to think twice. He didn't really have to think twice.
Like I said, isn't it? Please just wait. Like I said, he said something like they really wanted him, which I think Reliance is hinging on. But he said they sacked him. I'm trying to get the part now so I can quote him verbatim, But he said they sacked him. He said it was almost instantly. They really wanted me. It was almost instantly. Me leaving Tottenham in the morning, Roma calling me in the afternoon. So number one, there was no case of any club looking for him at that point because there is no chance safe to think of club looking for you because the first call you got was Roma. Then I think two of you are just balancing yourselves today. That's very good. Then you now thought of the fact that they've always wanted me. It means maybe it's just like when.
What do you want to think
of?
What are you thinking about again? What are you thinking about again? A club have been on your tail.
There was no other club.
Honorable.
A club have been on your tail for as long as it takes. And right now you're fired in the middle of building a project, and the club comes for you. And see, Roma are wise. Let me tell you why I'm saying they are wise.
No.
At that point, they just seize an opportunity to get the man they've been looking for.
I know.
The man is fired in the morning.
Just like you chase your fiancé and took advantage of the lines.
She ain't real. She ain't gonna be able to love you like I will. She is a stranger. You and I have history, or don't you she ain't got your love anymore.
Alright, enough of the arguments on Jose Mourinho. We would have more time, I'm telling you, because he's just joining Roma. We've not even started. It's not like Gattuso that before he even priced the first player. Before he priced the first player, they told him, more, this was not what we agreed. Just take your bags and just from your house continue. And for Tottenham, I wonder who their next coach will be, and that's why we're in the transfer market. So, guys, we'll delve into the transfer bit. So, mind you, you can send in your thoughts on any part of the conversation, the debate in the studio, the facts and reasons, and what a view. You can definitely send us your thoughts. Our text message portal is open. Is 0701 9339 962. I'll take that again slowly. 0701 9339 962. But now, for those who have been asking me for transfers, let's go to the rumors. Alright, the biggest one on the table from this past week, it has to be Sergio Ramos and his issues. But in terms of a big rumor, new Real Madrid boss Carlo Ancelotti has made German striker Timo Werner his first transfer target. The Chelsea forward endured a tough first season at Stamford Bridge, scoring just 12 times in all competitions. But Ancelotti is keen to bring the 25-year-old to the Bernabeu this summer, according to reports in Spain. Werner did provide 15 assists for the Champions League winners in 2020-2021, but was plagued by series of high-profile misses. Reliance, a friend of mine told me, this man just knows that they will sack him. So he just pick the best way, no say they don't go fee buy. So I ain't go tell them, I wanted Werner, you didn't give me Werner. But you think it's something that's possible?
For Timo Werner to go to Real Madrid,
yeah,
it's a dream come true for any player to play for Real Madrid. Trust me, it's a dream come true. Whether you play for Man U, PSG, Chelsea, it's a dream come true to play for Real Madrid. So if the offer comes, Werner might push it because he knows that Real Madrid at them. In fact, to be very honest with you, it's going to be a wise choice if they really table an offer, and then it's going to be a wise choice for Timo Werner to accept it. I tell you because Real Madrid is more like going through a phase at the moment, rebuilding. So Werner is likely going to have more opportunities to play there than in Chelsea, where they can still go for Erling Braut Haaland, for instance, or they can still go for Lukaku, for instance. All right, they still have the money and they can still splash it on players to get what they expected Timo Werner to give them in the first place. But going to Real Madrid, where it's not really rosy at the moment, it's not really that classic Real Madrid that we used to have in the past, it's going to have more opportunities. So yeah, it's going to be a wise choice if you accept it and if they really table an offer.
Manchester United have opened the bidding for French. That's another one on the table, a huge one now. Manchester United have opened the bidding for French defender Raphael Varane at £50 million. United are one of several interested parties, but Real will only entertain offers of £80 million or more for the 28-year-old centre-back. Last season's Premier League runners-up are looking to bolster their central defensive options by finding a long-term partner for Harry Maguire. Queen Ezine Varane, or Varane rather, Manchester United, PSG too are interested in him, but they just let Ramos go. And let me say what I heard too from some of the people that write from the inside in Madrid, or I saw from their blogs and papers. The report is that they are not selling Varane for any price. Reasons being that there's no Ramos. So the plan is to keep Varane. Alaba plays from centre back these days and can also do the right back. They got Dani Carvajal on the right, so they don't need any right back. They don't have right back problems. Alaba will play from the centre with Varane, while you have the regular left back Marcelo and whoever assists him now, and even Nacho at times could debutize. So they don't want to sell him. Why Vallejo, or Vallejo, depending on how you pronounce the name, would be a backup too for the defenders. Manchester United, they've been chasing Varane for God knows how long. You think they can cough out it? After all, they paid £80 million for Maguire, and I think Varane is better than Maguire. Okay, I don't want to start. I did not say
it's not even you saying. Varane is better than Maguire.
Go ahead.
There's no apology in saying it.
No, just like the music, Romo has its wisdom. Romo has it. You want to ask Manchester United, who are also going on for Jadon Sancho, would they be able to cough out that kind of money? I doubt. And even Real Madrid talking about getting
fine
more
save from
better
Gulaxi.
offer.
Sorry to cut you in right there. A fine save from Peter Gulaxi, the RB Leipzig goalkeeper.
are able to actually stop that one. France, Mbappe, the man, he was about opening the door really for France to make it 2-1, but somehow that was well taken by Gulaxi. Go ahead.
So after losing 2 and they've lost their key defender, Sergio Ramos, who asked for a better contract, it didn't work out. Even when he wanted that other one, it didn't still work out for them. I don't think they will sell because this is a new phase for the club. They have a new manager and they will need to have substitution. They will need to have different things to actually tweak in the team. So letting Varane go, I don't think that will be possible because they've already let their key defender out in the name of Sergio Ramos. It won't be easy, one reason, to actually replace that man because the leadership quality he brings in, the winning mentality he brings into that Madrid team is second to none. I think for me, I'm one of those persons who think they will struggle because you don't just let a Sergio Ramos leave your team easily, and I don't think they'll make that mistake of also letting Rafael Varane leave the team. So I don't think it's going to work.
Why are they not wearing shirts?
They are celebrating.
The Hungary fans.
They are celebrating. That's how far they take it.
Do you know
Even
what came
in
into my head?
Game, I think some of them were bad.
Do you know what came into my head? If it were Nigeria playing against France, how many goals would have considered by now?
5.
Now, what I'm seeing here is a matter of
we did well against them in the World Cup.
That's why
when we got to the second round.
Yeah, that's why some people talk about
2014
character and passion of the current crop of Super Eagles players. You could see the spirit and the character and the determination in this hungry national team. You could also see the same thing in their fans. It's just
my brother, see, you can't give what you don't have. We are waiting for people to develop players that don't know anything about. Wait, you think if I play for streets that, for example, let's say I walked through the streets. I know where I grew up, for example, at my kid days. You think if I play in front of those people, I will not want to. When I can look at, I can see my auntie, uncle. And I know I'm representing. Let's say I'm representing like Rivers United now, players who are probably, but it's not the same. But let's move on. French winger Kingsley Coman has his eyes on a Premier League switch after turning down a contract extension at Bayern Munich. Coman would like to see his salary increased in line with Leroy Sané, who joined from Man City last summer. Bayern would demand £60 million for Coman, who is contracted until 2023. And club president Uli Hoeneß is not worried about the situation. Quoting me, said, "We are very relaxed there. I think the financial ceilings will not be exceeded. If he doesn't accept it, in the end, you have to be consistent as a club." Coman to leave? You think he would leave?
He will leave because Bayern are not willing to increase the pay for the man. Bayern don't really. It's like, in fact, most clubs in Germany, Bayern number one, they behave like sports in America. There's that salary cap. There's a level they can't exceed. Leroy Sané is,
and it's like a culture.
Yeah, it's like a culture there. So for
Sané was an exceptional case.
It was more like an exceptional case because they really needed him. At that point, you could see two of your wingers departing the club in Arjen Robben and
Frank Ribéry.
So they really need someone that can at least put up a shift, close to what this guy offered. And I think that's why they were willing to pay that much. And then the wages also for Leroy Sané. But for Kingsley Coman, looking at Leroy Sané's wages, and you think Bayern are going to do that. No, that stuff works mostly in the Premier League. Yeah, you could use that to influence club in the Premier League, and then you get a pay rise. But in Germany, where it's like a culture, they don't spend that much. I don't think it's going to work. So most likely, Kingsley Coman will be leaving Bayern Munich at the end.
Fine confidence displayed by the Hungarian side. The Hungarians are actually looking like they want to at least push this one to the end. And I tell you, Hungary, do me a favor. Make sure it ends so we enjoy the group. Because if Germany now beats, it's possible. If Germany could beat Portugal, then everybody would just start. We know the last day would be really interesting, but don't mind me. France, do your thing. Spain goalkeeper David De Gea is thought to be in the dark over his future at Manchester United. All right, there is Tom Heaton. Yes, that's the man who will be giving us the different curve of this discussion, or this particular one now is in the De Gea. I had to share the number one role with Dean Henderson in the latter part of 2020-2021. Amid reports, United were keen to sell him. He's one of the club's highest earners and will request to leave Old Trafford if he's not guaranteed to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice. Ezine, Manchester United are close to signing Tom Heaton, we heard. And Fabrizio Romano came out 2 days ago to confirm that he had passed the medical. That's talking about Tom Heaton. So, even different reports even carried it that he was done with his medical. By the way, he plays as a goalkeeper for Aston Villa and the English national team. He will become a free agent upon the expiration of his contract on 1st July. So he's gone past his medical. They can't announce because he would be free on the 1st of July, which is when they can announce. You think one of them would leave?
Yeah, about David De Gea, I think he's going to leave. If it has been there, it's been written. Even in that Europa League final, that was one other thing that was that made Ole being criticized. That why would you play a David De Gea when you know he was going to leave at the end of the season? He was supposed to be a Dean Henderson that was supposed to be at the heart of the goal line. It's been calling. It's actually been lingering. We knew that De Gea's time at Manchester United was over. It was getting we don't know which club is going to go for, but it will also be, I think it will be a miss for United because this man has actually been there. United didn't finish around 13th, 14th is because of his powerful goalkeeping abilities. He had actually saved that club at some point when most of the players could not actually turn up. Right. He was there at the goalkeeper. But always help, but at some point you have to leave. Take a chance of Sergio Ramos. When the end comes close, there is nothing you can do. It's just got to show that you will actually live. But for Tom Heaton, it will be a good one for him. From Aston Villa to Manchester United, how would you end your career? That would be a good move for him. But I think there will be some kind of issues. But still, I know that Dean Henderson will always be the first choice in front of goal for Manchester United.
I think Tom Heaton means they're prepared to let one of them go. Could be Dean, could be De Gea, but just like we always say, Dean is younger. Dean is much younger.
Dean is going to stay.
So 35-year-old Heaton can be doing backup for Dean while De Gea leaves, but anything can happen. Let's quickly go through the roundup of the other transfer stories, and we'll get to hear from you. PSG have renewed their efforts to sign United French star midfielder Paul Pogba, reports La Parisienne. Juventus and Madrid have also been linked. Meanwhile, United, PSG and Sevilla are keen to sign superstar defender Sergio Ramos after he left Real Madrid, claims 90 minutes. Dario AS says Real Sociedad Swedish forward Alexander Isak is attracting interest from Chelsea, joining Arsenal in the race to sign him. Liverpool are interested in Sassuolo's Italy international winger Domenico Berardi, claims Gazzetta dello Sport. Corriere dello Sport reports Miralem Pjanic could be headed back to Juventus from Barcelona on a 2-year loan, part financed by the Catalans. Inter and Chelsea have also been linked. Tottenham and England striker Harry Kane has made it clear to his representatives that he would be willing to be reunited with former Spurs boss Mauricio Pochettino at PSG. This is according to 90 Minutes. And The Sun has it that Arsenal will make another bid to sign 22-year-old Lyon and French midfielder Houssem Aouar and are preparing a £100,000 a week contract offer. Football London reports that Scotland defender Kieran Tierney has agreed a new 5-year contract with Arsenal, which he will sign in the coming days. And Goal reports that Rafael Varane, as a Real Madrid man, has yet to decide his future amid links to Manchester United and Chelsea. ESPN reports that Manchester United are being deterred from signing Varane as well as 30-year-old Atletico Madrid and England fullback Kieran Trippier because the high prices being quoted by their clubs. Goal also reports that Italy midfielder Manuel Locatelli has been linked to a move from Sassuolo, but the 23-year-old is ignoring the gossip about his future and is focused on his country's Euro 2020 campaign. And I did tell you that Chelsea have joined Arsenal in the race to sign Real Sociedad and Sweden striker Alexander Isak. This according to AS2 via Express. Jorginho's agent says several of Europe's top teams are interested in signing the 29-year-old Italy midfielder, but is unlikely to leave Chelsea, according to Radio Marte via Mail. All right, so that's where we would leave that. I'm sure we covered as much as we can cover. Those asking for the transfers. That's much of it. Let's quickly go to the WhatsApp portal. Okay, we start. This one says, "Hi, good afternoon, sports crew. I think France will beat Hungary by 3-0. Ben texting from Aji. Ben, sorry, we took this.
It's 4 minutes additional time now. We're in the second minute of added time.
Welcome to reality, Ben.
And it's still 1-1 between Hungary and. Oh man,
but it's true. You go
maybe if you enter over 2.5, let's just see how it goes. Hi, Chief, you're laughing. Good afternoon, guys. My name is Liberty from PH. Okay, I'm with you, Wisdom. Portugal are also my favorite. I hope the French game ends in a draw today. England can't break down Scotland and they will likely meet either Portugal, France or Germany in the knockout stage. No be double wahala be that. Wahala be like, wait, when you finish group stage, you go jam Germany, Portugal or France. All right. This one says for England is a bit. Okay. Okay, it's Kosi from Abuja. Una they give Hungary chance, lol. Una go see flogging today now. England be like Uniport team and Southgate glorified Lampard. But how do you leave Sancho on the bench? For England, it's a bit of both. They give those young boys so much hype that if by one game they don't live up to it, journalists roast them and it affects their performance next game. Not all players deal with pressure. Then when it comes to the coaching department, you find mediocre coaches who can't prove themselves outside the EPL. Even the Messi man that everyone is hailing. Let's see him in 2 seasons to come. Let's see if he won't fizzle out like Jack Wilshere until World Cup. I remember the press said Jack Wilshere would be a Ballon d'Or winner. For France, 4-0 Hungary. Portugal 2-1 Germany. Thanks, guys. Keep the good work. Thank you. Obina, okay. Honestly, this Orazi man has just said it all. England is so hyped. Confidence from Port Harcourt, okay? I'm sure he can hear you. As for me, England has qualified, whether officially or unofficially. I always knew UEFA are scared of Real Madrid and Barcelona, so UEFA added both Spanish teams to UCL draw after all the noise. UEFA shown sign of weakness only means the ESL will come back. UEFA president should resign because he has fallen in my hands. Oscar KJ from PH. We didn't look at those draws today. Maybe tomorrow we'd have time.
But not train talk
for that.
UEFA. Now fans stop ESL. It's not even UEFA.
It's not UEFA.
Now fans stop ESL. So UEFA, I mean Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus. You talked about who broke record transfers. You keep calling this club, didn't you? So tell me them pulling out of UEFA competitions. Let's continue.
Like I said, I'm sure we'd have time for that argument in the coming days. But ordinarily, let's focus on the Euros and leave UEFA Champions League and Europa League, please. Good afternoon to you all. The way I'm seeing this Euro unknown team, the way I'm seeing these Euros, an unknown team will win these Euros. As for Copa America, I see Argentina going to the final. Any news about Barcelona transfers? Kivu Perez is my name from Miche. Nothing concrete. I'm sure you heard the ones that we had on the front burner. We are just waiting for the final whistle in the game between France and
the final whistle now
and Hungary.
And
that was the chance. That was the chance.
That was the last of it.
That was the chance, and it was for Rafael Varane.
Last chance.
And Rafael Varane just it was like a John Stones, and that's the end. Hungary have done the
celebration.
Impossible
celebration.
I'm sure nobody saw it coming.
You drew them.
Nobody gave them a chance to even get the point.
I didn't.
Wisdom, I told you, I gave them. I told Wisdom that they are very, very compact.
My brother, I Chief is asking the same question I asked.
I Chief, they gave all of us eating receipts. You decide to eat small, I decide to eat all. Nobody sanctioned them the first game.
Even the first game against Portugal,
allow as much as
it was full capacity.
So if you want to space your own in England because you're scared, it's okay. It's your choice. Yeah, they even pull off this thing. Let's continue. I think I've taken skillful perusal. This one says, good afternoon, presenters. I'm Wisdom texting from LMM. Wisdom, we talked about Rashford hype, but Felix and Dembele, who is better than? Both went over 100 million euros. Well, Rashford has not even gone. No. If Rashford wants to go, I think it will be more than 150. I'm serious. I think it will be more than 150. And João Felix, I don't think João Felix was hyped. I think Atletico Madrid just paid their own big money for him because they thought he was the competition was high. They didn't want anybody to steal him from them. And they wanted to cash in and then sell him. Yeah. Atletico, they are a buying club. They buy you and sell for maybe 300 million in next. Somehow, that equation did not work out. But for Dembele, Ousmane Dembele,
Injury,
I wouldn't know, but
injury no just allowed
Dembele did not exactly live up to expectations.
Yeah.
You can also say the same for Coutinho, who also went to the same team. Okay, Obina sends us a message. It says, tell us Mourinho was about traveling to Spain to sign for Valencia before Roma called him. he had offers. Okay, good day. Any transfer news in Leicester City? Snow White from Chuba. Snow White, are you a Leicester fan? That's nice. Odsone Edwards. That's the man that they are. I know they are interested in. He's from he plays for Celtic. This one says, good afternoon, Obina, Reliance and Isine. I have been keenly following your sports analysis. Very fantastic. But then my heart goes with the People's Elephants as they play their match tomorrow. I wish them 2-0 up in the encounter. Uche Moji from PH. No doubts about that. We'll be here tomorrow for that one. Reliance and the guys will be here to bring you up to speed with the reports for Enyimba. This one is asking why is Obina calling Isine Queen. You know, we have 2 female voices these days. So sometimes, even me, it's really easy to mistake the two. England, an overhyped team. Imagine comparing Marcos to Cristiano Ronaldo. Anyway, Portugal 4, Germany 1, Brazil victors at Copa America. I am Wisdom texting in from Port Harcourt. All right, we'll see if we can squeeze in 1 or 2 more calls now. 0817 0000951 0810 9510. It shock you, Abi? 951. All right.
It would be unfair if they don't finish as best losers in this game.
No, that's what they think. So, guys, let's get to the phone lines. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling us from?
I'm calling from MTA Road, Mboga.
Let's meet you. Your name?
Okay, my name is Odinaka.
Odinaka, let's hear you.
Wait, I want to say that today's man that Portugal is going to win Germany.
By what scoreline?
2-0.
Okay. Are you supporting Portugal to win the Euros or France?
Yes, of course, I do.
Which of them? France or Portugal? Okay. Thank you so much. Sorry, we don't get plenty Portugal fans now. You both should come, man. I'm waiting. But if they lose, we all lose. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon. We can hear you. I greet you, Eto.
Greetings to you too.
Good afternoon.
See, as for Europe, my favorite is Portugal.
Okay, Portugal, okay.
Portugal is my favorite, and nobody will stop them. They are movie train. Nobody can stop a movie train. France is just, they are just individually. They can't play as a team.
One thing when we World Cup, why they talk like this, Eto? They play individually, they won the World Cup.
Eto, finish.
They play like a team in 2018. This is 2021.
Things have changed, eh?
Okay.
As long as I'm concerned, Portugal is a team, and transfer rumor very, very soon. Either tomorrow, I want to tell you this one as one of the insiders. Chelsea will land Erling Haaland.
My brother, Avec, this sleep, just wake up, Avec, small. Tomorrow, no. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Chukwuebuka, welcome. Let's hear you quickly. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm not even wasting your time. Please, I'm still celebrating the Scotland and draw.
Why?
Yes, I'm still celebrating. I'm waiting for Scotland to win on the side here. I know we don't play this. Probably just me in Africa here. Waiting for them to win. So I'm waiting for them. I'm happy they do with England. I know we'll qualify even if as best losers or anything.
You're waiting for Scotland to win the Euros?
Yes, so Scotland to win the Euros.
I'm saying that from day one.
That's good. I like that. I like people that take those far corners. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon. You are last caller.
Yeah, quickly, tell Edin Mourinho has already booked his flight to go and sign for Valencia in Spain. He was at the airport when Roma called him. So when she's saying Mourinho, there was no offer. He has already booked his flight. He was on his way to sign for Valencia before Roma called him, and he turned back. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Robin. I know it's rumor time, actually. So, but the man says it's possible because I know no matter what you say about Mourinho, people still love him. Can we squeeze in one? Let's see. Today's Sports Live. Please, let's just squeeze this one in. Welcome.
Okay. Yeah. I've called back. I've already called before. Why is this coming from the page?
All right, quickly.
But I want to know how much was ever carry any player?
Who?
Arsenal.
Arsenal. You see, that's the problem. They are pursuing, but they are making efforts.
They never signed, no.
Okay.
They lost Buendia to Aston Villa, and I hear Raheem Sterling. Rumors have it that they are planning to table £70 million for Raheem Sterling, and I think that would be a bold statement, even if I know that will not be the price they want to sell him. He's an English player. I'll leave it at that. That's how we wrap things up. I'm sure High Chief was shocked that COVID rules were broken in Budapest. He was really surprised.
From the first game,
but I tell you, they are using their strength. If it's fans they don't have any big player, no problem. Reliable Reliance was here. Izzy Neoti was also here, all bringing you fine analysis and breaking down the reports. Thanks too for being a part of the conversation. Thank you too for listening and calling in and contributing. It was really fantastic having you right there. Your arguments, debates, facts and all that. Wisdom Obina is my name, and we will be back. We'll continue. We'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow, but for now, I'll hand you over to Victor Oriahi, the likes of High Chief Okechukwu Edenko, and the likes of Priye Pizzi to lead you into Nigerian football.
Ain't got your love anymore. Rumor has it.
Are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Sunshine or rain, through every terrain.
Everywhere I turn, it's football, football.
So why not join in the action? Intrigues, excitement, and fun.
Just doesn't get better than this.
Many stars have continued to shine with every ace, every race, every break, and every other sports there is.
Incredible.
On today's Sports Live, reaching you from your premium news, talk and sports radio station, Today 95.1 FM Port Harcourt.
That sounds like so much fun.
Weekdays after the news at 3. It's interactive, it's engaging, and don't forget, your voice is priority.
For the best coverage of Nigeria football, always listen to today's Spotlight on Today 95.1 FM Port Harcourt. My name is Austin Oladapo, the captain of two-time African champion Eyimba Football Club.
My name is Gianni Infantino, FIFA president. For the best of sports, always listen to Today Sports Live on Today 95.1 FM Port Harcourt.
Kilometers. I don't come kilometers. I don't walk that many kilometers. Learn from the teacher. I don't take for the game, she no pitas. I decide bad mind from a distance. Not this sweet, I be all on my pitas. Oh, Doguni Misha, show you the confirm for your speaker. This time I call chopsticks for assistance. Show we they blow your mind, Afghanistan. Kilometers. I don't come kilometers. I don't walk that many kilometers.
Well, we don't come again. It's time for another exciting edition of Today's Sports Live, the Nigerian edition where we talk basically Nigerian football. Good evening to you, and welcome and thank you so much for tuning in once more to your premium news talk and sports radio station, Today 95.1 FM, right here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt. Okay, well, my name is Victor Oriahi. I am your favorite melanin sports presenter. And today we're going to be looking at a number of things. Looking at the NNL. Yes, not the usual for us, but Nigerian football is all encompassing. We're going to talk about the NNL. There was an incident some weeks back in an NNL game between Remo Stars and Bendel Insurance. And of course, the Nigerian Football Federation Disciplinary Committee has given their verdict, as well as that incident involving FC Fanyuba and MFMFC. We're going to be talking about that. They will preview the games to expect this weekend. One game ongoing, and that is Aqua United. Currently up against Adamawa United, right there at the Nest of Champions. We'll be giving you all the updates coming in from that very match. And we're going to also talk about the Super Falcons, their performance at the just concluded WNT Summer Series. Well, the coach of the side, Randy Waldrum, says he's satisfied with the performance of the ladies. And you begin to ask yourself, they were unable to win a single game in that summer series. But Randy Waldrum says he is indeed satisfied with the ladies' performance. And then we're going to look at some transfers, as we got to hear that Stephen Gope of Wiki Tourist, well, he is signed for a Ukrainian club. So much to talk about, I tell you. And when the time is right, we're going to look at that Euros match between Portugal and Germany. It kicks off by 5 p.m. and we're going to be in the studio, so we can't help but bring you all the updates. At least for the very first half of that game, we saw Hungary play out a 1-0 draw with France, and boy, were the fans ecstatic right there in Budapest. All right, I won't be alone in the studio. I've got the gentleman right here with me. Let me start with the High Chief himself, Okechukwu Edenkwo. Good evening to you, High Chief.
Good evening, Victor. Good evening, Priya. Good evening, everyone out there. Good evening, Nigeria Delta, and the world at large. There's no better place to be on a Saturday evening like TSL, Today Sports Live on the
Well, that is the truth and nothing but the truth. Priya Isagu is also right here in the building. Priya PC, welcome.
Good evening, the Melanin Sports presenter. Good evening to the High Chief and to the beautiful city of Port Harcourt. Always great to talk Nigerian football. Good thing we're talking about the NNL today. Even though most times we always talk about the negative
we only talk about the NNL when problem day.
And that's news, funny enough. I'm a newsman, so but negativity is always news. But sometimes we do talk about the positive. But right now, when it comes to Nigerian football, it pains me to say we talk about the negative things a lot, because a lot of negative things happen.
Well, a lot of negatives definitely in the narrative of Nigerian football. But we believe that some things will change. John Obi Mikel has just been appointed as an ambassador by the federal government. We're also going to talk about that one, But then you can be a part of the conversation by leaving us a message on our text or WhatsApp line. Well, the number is 0701 933 9962. That is the number to send in your text or your WhatsApp messages to. And of course, later on, we're going to be throwing open the phone lines to get to hear from you. Well, don't go anywhere. The show would begin proper when we come back.
Kilometers. I don't come kilometers. I don't walk that many kilometers. Learn from the teacher. I don't take for the game, she no pitas. I decide bad mind from a distance. But this sweet happy yellow my pitas. Oh, Doguni Misha, show you the confirm for your speaker. This time I call chopsticks for assistance. Show we they blow your mind, Afghanistan. Kilometer.
Okay, well, the Nigerian Football Federation Disciplinary Committee yesterday fined Remo Stars 900,000 naira after finding the club guilty of breaking COVID-19 protocols, encroachment of pitch, and discontinuation of a game by fans in the Nigerian National League match against Bendel Insurance in the Week 21 NNL match on the 6th of June. Well, it was earlier reported that Remo fans encroached the pitch with the game goalless and chased the visiting insurance players away, with 10 members of the insurance squad, players and officials reportedly sustaining varying degrees of injuries. After a visit to the injured players and officials at the Central Hospital Benin City, Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki withdrew the club from the NNL, adding that his administration will take legal action against Remo for the dastardly act. Well, the NFF yesterday in a statement fined Remo Stars 900,000 naira after they were found guilty of breaching the league's code of conduct. The statement read, pursuant to Rule 16.2 NNL rules, Remo Stars is hereby fined the sum of 500,000 naira only for breaches of COVID-19 protocol and the discontinuation of the match due to encroachment by their supporters who were present at the stadium in breach of COVID-19 protocols. Taking cognizance of the conduct of Remo Stars officials and supporters being responsible for the encroachment and discontinuation of the match, pursuant to the powers under Rule 16.3 and 15.10 NNL rules, and order that the match which was discontinued at a goalless draw shall count as a complete fixture with the nil-nil as the final scoreline. Well, in view of the fact that Bendel Insurance was unable to submit any medical bills of their injured players and officials and receipt of cost of repairs to their damaged bus, the committee is constrained to award only the sum of 400,000 naira as general damages against Remo Stars to be paid to Bendel Insurance. That Remo Stars are hereby directed to make a written undertaking to the NNL guaranteeing safety of players and officials of visiting teams during and after matches, and any breach of such undertaking shall lead to banning Remo Stars from further hosting NNL matches in their home venue.
I don't walk that many kilometers.
Priya, let me start with you. When that incident happened, we got to see footage from the stadium, and the Bendel Insurance players had to run for their lives. Some even jumped fence. You know, a player after that incident said they were just running into the bush because they were pursuing them. They literally ran for their lives, jumping fence, stomping themselves in the bush, and what have you. And the NFF disciplinary committee has come out with this punishment for the side, for Remo Stars, that is 900,000 naira. 400,000 naira is going to go to Bendel Insurance for repairing the bus, for treating their players and their officials because they did not submit the receipt, you know, how much they actually spent. So the NFF disciplinary committee just said 400,000 naira. Do you think this is punishment enough for Remo Stars?
First of all, for me, I will say this: it's quite painful talking about this kind of things in 21st century. It's painful, especially when you're a football lover. You've seen football evolve over the years, from being that do or die thing into more professional and sphere, and then you think that the 21st century Nigeria team will be acting this way, chasing players down to the come on, it doesn't make sense to me. I think the laws needs to be strengthened. It can't be in the middle of the season when an incident happens they will be signing undertaking. For me, the undertaking part, the last paragraph, come on, I think needs to be reviewed, because before, every home team needs to take care of
now
their away team.
The funny part about it is that the undertaking doesn't say if it repeats again they will be banned from the NNL. It says they will be banned from hosting NNL matches in their home venue.
I think the laws are weak. If you critically look at the fines, then you look at the statement by the NFF, it's like let's just go out there and just play football. I think that's the idea about the NNL. It's not taken to that professional stage. We all know about where teams can actually buy the slot of other teams if they know they don't have the financial prowess to face the MPFL league season at the end of the NNL season. It's a ugly scene when it comes to NNL, organization of NNL in Nigeria. I think the lower division needs to be looked at properly. We cannot continue like this. Look at the laws, 500,000 naira. I think there should be a stipulated fine, a huge fine, so that it will deter others from committing this kind of, this is beyond even offense. It's more like a crime. I think some persons needs to be arrested, apprehended by the police.
Okay.
Because if you actually house hoodlums as fans, come on, you really need to pay for this. I think and supporters club of Remo Star needs to explain those kind of people there. I think fans are actually banned from attending games in the first place. So for me, I think a whole lot needs to be explained. One, they need to get those fans, those particular fans, those hoodlums among themselves, so that they can actually prosecute them. I'm talking about supporters club and the management of the club. Then secondly, I think the fine is very, very small. It's minute. They shouldn't be waiting. I think the NFF shouldn't be waiting for receipts from
well,
when we saw video footages. Come on, it doesn't make sense. I think it should be huge fine, point deduction, a huge hammer on them, so they cannot actually repeat this kind of. It will actually deter other teams beyond just giving them what's 900,000 to compare to a club. A club can actually pay this.
Yeah.
It's not even the amount some players earning even in Nigeria. So for me, I think it's beyond this. NFF just needs to work on their law, maybe a little bit of amendment, especially when it comes to some of these hammers, because right now it looks too weak.
Hi, Chief. We got to hear from the media officer of Bendel Insurance, Kende Osagede. He says that the club will take the NFF and the NNL to court to seek a redress over the irresponsible judgment. Let me take his statement. It says, we received the NNL disciplinary committee's judgment on the case of assault, security breaches, and field encroachment established against Remo Stars with dismay, disbelief, and total loss of confidence in the country's football regulatory body. We see the judgment as biased and nothing but an instrument for encouraging further violence in Nigerian football. A call to anarchy that is therefore unacceptable. The club further said directing Remo Stars to pay 400,000 naira to us, Bendel Insurance, as damages is a big insult to us and to the people of Edo State. They were further saying that they were going to continue with pulling out of the Nigerian National League. And once again, actually, just you must have seen the pictures, but just take a look at the picture again of the injured players. Eyes swollen, some with bandages, and 400,000 naira to be paid by Remo Stars. Now, the media officer says this is the judgment by the NFF is encouraging more teams, is encouraging further violence in Nigerian football. Do you see it as such?
Well, I'll sound a bit sarcastic. Why I said I'll sound a bit sarcastic. For somebody who went robbery, if he's caught, you don't give him a slap on the wrist.
True.
If you give him a slap on the wrist, that means you're encouraging him to do more. And you're also setting an ugly precedent for others to partake in such a very, very shameless act. Secondly, you don't change the rules of the game midway. Our greatest problem in Nigeria is that we're not proactive. We don't envisage that in the shortest possible time XYZ is supposed to happen. So let's put certain steps to put people in check. Look at, you don't carry out such degree of inhuman acts, very barbaric, shameless, taking us back to the Stone Age. Maybe in the 70s and the 60s, where they chased visiting teams. Of course, for crying out loud, we are in the 21st century, where everything has gone digital, everything has gone supposed to be on air. See, if we have our matches streamed live by any means, some of these things shouldn't happen. Thirdly, there is an ongoing COVID-19 protocol which they did not even adhere to. That one is enough punishment. Then talk less of bringing the game to disrepute. It's in the village. Maybe when we play inter-village matches, that's when you see people chasing people with machete, because it's only machete that can give people that kind of injury.
True.
So that punishment, for all I care, is like a slap on the wrist for someone caught with a gun.
Okay, well, a slap on the wrist according to Chief Okechukwu. The media officer of Benden Insurance says it is completely unacceptable, and they will be taking the NFF as well as the NNL to court seeking a redress of this issue. Well, Remo Stars, no fine, no points deduction. They are just fined 900,000 naira that we don't know if they will eventually pay. 400,000 naira is to be paid to the NNL. 500,000 naira to be paid to the NNL. 400,000 naira to be paid to Bendel Insurance.
Let me ask one question again. If in this thing, they don't pay that money. How did they deduct it from them?
Exactly.
Because if the league has sponsorship packages, if you don't pay your fines, they will definitely withdraw it from your funds.
Yeah. But we don't have any.
We don't.
MPFL no get. Nah, NNL we can't get.
So
okay. Well, let's talk about the Super Falcons.
Nigeria are the 9th champions in this competition. History for Nigeria, 9 times champions.
Say a little prayer for the Falcons. Don't say we be winning, we be champions. You know that we're super woman. We just keep it moving cause we're stronger. Oshola is a player. Nigeria we support. Oparanozi is a player. Nigeria we support. Odega is a player.
Well, the coach of the Super Falcons, Randy Waldrum, says he's encouraged by the Super Falcons show against the world champions United States of America on Thursday morning. Well, the Falcons lost that game 2-0. It was their final game of the 2021 Summer Series in the United States. Goals from Christian Press and Lynn Williams were enough to hand an impressive Super Falcons side a defeat at the Q2 Stadium in Austin, Texas. Well, speaking of his girls, Randy Waldrum said he's proud of their overall performance in that tournament. Well, the Falcons suffered 2 defeats and a draw in 3 matches at the Invitational Tournament. But the American gaffer insisted that his side will depart the tournament with a great lesson. It says, I am enamored by the professionalism of the players and their courage even when they are on the back foot. They played very competitively against the best team in the world, and I am extremely proud of them. The Summer Series have come at a good time for us as we were able to see a number of new players. The girls also came up against strong teams and did not fare badly. Lessons have been learned, and I am delighted with our performance and general attitude on and off the pitch. Hi Chief, how would you rate the Super Falcons' performance at this particular tournament? 3 games played, 2 losses, 1 draw.
From the rational point of view, given the level of preparation and how the players got to assemble themselves, it's not really a bad one. It's a new team under a new leadership, so they're still learning the curves. But one thing or one positive to take away from this tournament is that 1, we lost honorably to America. Why I say we lost honorably? In the past, they used to beat us 8-9-0. But in this case, we lost just by 2 goals.
Just 2-0.
Just 2 goals. So I think they are learning and there's an improvement. Then having played one of the, I think Portugal also, they are one of the middle level teams in Europe. They are not really the European superpower when it comes to female football. I think we almost at the same level with them. So for us to have played, the only negatives from that match was how we lost 3-1 to the Reggae Girls. That is where
1-0.
I mean, is it okay? 1-0.
Yes.
Okay, we lost by a lone goal to the Reggae Girls.
Yes.
So I think some questions need to be answered. They need to ask certain questions to know why and how it happened, so that it will also serve as a deterrent to further losses. But the good thing is that we left the competition with our shoulders a bit high. If we were beaten by the US by 8-9-0, that means we have not improved and we're not making progress.
Okay. Priye, do you agree, or you think we're just accepting what many have termed as mediocrity? Having the Super Falcons go for a competition and they can't even win a single game amidst 3 matches played.
if you critically look at the Super Falcons over the years, we have done a particular thing over and over again when it comes to dominating the continent. I think it's high time we start thinking about the global stage. When I mean the global stage, I'm talking about the Olympics and also the World Cup. And there's a huge possibility of the women going far, at least the semi-finals of and the World Cup. They have not done that. I will look at this more like learning the new tricks from the manager. That's why I will not particularly criticize them on this competition. But good thing they played against the United States, which we all know definitely they are the biggest team when it comes to women football. Every other team follows behind, even though we know how good some European teams are, but the United States, come on, they are more like the standard when it comes to women football, and losing 2-0. I said it's quite decent a little bit, but I think there's a whole lot to still learn. There's a whole lot to learn. They need to understand the strategy of the manager, the tactics of the manager. And the good thing is we have the blend right now of youth and experience in that Super Falcons team. I think it's about gelling and belief, because most times when you see most of these other teams, they go out there internationally, it's more like there's that phobia, there's that fear when they play these bigger teams. And I think I've seen the Super Falcons players play against the Swedish national team, other European side, and you ask yourself, they are good players, but why would they fizzle out when it gets to that stage? I think they need to start building that mentality, and this competition is quite good when it comes to building the mentality of the players, because right now you're playing those international stars, the likes of Press, a lot of them that have seen it all when it comes to women football. So for me, I think it's about just gelling as a team, playing as a unit right now. And I think with time, they will actually play to the tactics of the coach. But right now, I won't judge them on this competition. No, I won't. But let's see subsequent competition. But I think the main aim right now for Super Falcons is about going far when it comes to the world stage. I think in the 90s, we got to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Then the numbers were not much. We really need to beat that record, at least the semi-finals of the World Cup, or possibly semi-finals of the Olympics, or winning it or something. I think we can do well. We have tried before in the under 20, another age grade competition, but we can still do it at the big stage. And I think with proper planning, proper management, proper administration, more competition, more friendly, because we've seen them go over a year without playing any competitive game when it comes to national team football. So if this kind of competition continues, possibly every 4, 5 months, 6 months, we see them play like this, play as a unit, I think the sky definitely will be our limit, and then we'll think about beating other major world champions.
All right, so remember, you can be a part of the conversation by leaving us a message on our text or WhatsApp line. We started the show talking about the Nigerian National League and the sanction given to the NNL side Remo Stars by the NFF Disciplinary Committee. 900,000 naira, 400,000 to be paid to Bendel Insurance, and of course, the media officer of Bendel Insurance says this is disappointing and it is an embarrassment and a disgrace, an insult to the people of Edo State and also to the club. And then we've talked about the Super Falcons, the recently concluded WNT Summer Series. Do you think their performance was good enough? They were unable to get a single win out of 3 games played. They managed just a draw against Portugal, 3-3. They were beaten by the Reggae Girls of Jamaica, 1-0 in the very first game of the tournament. And they did lose to the United States of America, 2-0. Goals scored additional time, first in the first half, the second in the second half. The number to send in your text or WhatsApp message to is 0701 933 9962. I take it again, 0701 933 9962. But in the meantime, Aqua United have taken the lead over Adamawa United right there at the Nest of Champions, with a goal coming in the 26th minute. Yes, sir, the Gospel Akpabios International Stadium in Uyo is where it's happening. And 26 minutes, Aqua United have taken the lead over bottom of the table side, Adamawa United. I did tell you earlier in the show, when we began the show, that we're also going to be talking about the Euros as we anticipate and look forward to that game involving Portugal and Germany. Well, the lineup of that game has been released, and Portugal will be playing in a 4-2-3-1 formation. Rui Patricio starts in goal for the team. Nelson Semedo, Pepe, Ruben Diaz, and Guerrero make the four-man back line. William Cavaro and Dani Pereira would be the sitting midfielders, while Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, and Diogo Jota would be playing behind Cristiano Ronaldo. On the bench for Portugal is Jose Fonte, while Moutinho, Andre Silva, Anthony Lopez, Rafa Silva, Renato Sanchez, Goncalo Guedes, Ruben Neves, Pedro Goncalves, Diogo Dalot, Rui Silva, and João Palhinha. While for Germany, they play in a 3-4-2-1 formation. You've got Manuel Neuer in goal for the team. Antonio Rudiger, Mats Hummels, and Matthias Ginter make the three-man backline. Robin Gosens, Toni Kroos, Ilkay Gundogan, and Joshua Kimmich would be playing behind Thomas Muller and Kai Havertz, with Serge Gnabry playing the false nine role up front. On the bench for Germany is Kevin Volland, Timo Werner, Bernard Leno, Niklas Sule, Florian. We've got Leon Goretzka, Leroy Sané, Kevin Trapp, Emre Can, Robin Koch, and Christian Guenta. All right, well, with that, we head straight to the Nigerian Professional Football League proper. Well, the table toppers, Aqua United at the moment. Kennedy Boboye's team up against Adamawa United. And it is the Promise Keepers who have taken the lead already, extending their lead at the top of the table to 4 points until Canopilas play. Priya, do you think it's going to be a clean sweep for Aqua United against Adamawa United? They did win them in the very first leg. When they played away from home, it was a lone goal to nothing in favor of Aqua United right here at the Nest of Champions. They've taken the lead already. Do you see them maintaining it? Or you think Adamawa United can just pull a surprise the way they did to Rivers United?
Nah. I think Aqua United is one of the decent teams we have right now in the NPFL when it comes to coordination, especially playing at home, playing at the Nest of King. They know how
Nest
to
of Champions.
Nest of Champions.
He said Nest of King. You don't think about money.
I'm thinking about money, bro. Playing the Nest of Champions, I think they are very, very coordinated. But one big issue is when it comes to Nigerian football, especially and the guys from Adamawa United is poor financial strength. And if you look at the team critically, you understand that a lot of players are not happy with the Adamawa and setup. So it's difficult when you play an organized side like Aqua United that have gotten everything they wanted from the state governor. So I think it will be easy. It's about Aqua United still maintaining that position, where the general manager of the club said a while ago, talked about them lifting and the competition. So for them, it's about lifting it beyond qualifying for the continent. So I think definitely they should see this one of maybe a 2-0 victory for Aqua United.
A 2-0 victory for Aqua United. Hi, Chief. If Aqua United extend their unbeaten run, do you see them? How long do you see them maintaining that form in the NPFL this season?
I think when you say a team that has direction, a team that has focus, and a team that means business, then you talk of Aqua United. Why I said so? At the time, I was looking at their position in the league as more like a fluke until they did the impossible in Kano. With Kano Pillars, that shows that they have a target. And I think I was privileged also to hear the coach talk before that match when he came to watch Rivers United and Kano Pillars in Port Harcourt. There was a certain statement he made that he's going to Kano Pillars, that at least he's going there for the 3 points. And he had a target. And since they didn't get the 3 points, they were able to pull the chestnut out from the fire by getting that 1 point to also increase the gap against Kano Pillars. So when you see a team like that, I think you shouldn't take them for granted. You should take them serious. And I think at this point, Aqua United, they have all it takes to push the league to the last day if they continue like this. The next match or next season where they will be tested is against Rivers United in Port Harcourt. And I believe if they can do the impossible in Port Harcourt, that means the league is going to Aqua United. With what happened to Rivers United against Adamawa United in Gombe, I think we're no longer contenders to the throne, and we are now pretenders.
Okay. Well, High Chief, still sticking with you. Charles Ashimene was the man who found the back of the net for Aqua United. It seems like he was just woken up from his slumber, because the man has been getting the goals for the side. What do you think Kennedy Boboye has got to do to ensure he keeps on scoring? If I'm not mistaken, he should have this should be his 9th goal this season.
But for somebody to score 9 goals in how many matches now? I think about 28
matches.
games.
It's not been playing, you know.
He's not been playing. It's a far cry, though. So he still needs to do more before he would get that tag as a goal poacher or somebody that is gunning for the highest goal scorer in the league. Despite the fact that he has not played so many games, but 9 goals out of 28 is a far cry. I stand to be corrected.
You're right. Okay. All right, well, let's move to the other games. Dakar FC will take on Rangers International on Sunday by 4 p.m. Eimba would welcome Nasarawa United to the Eimba International Stadium, while it's going to be an Oriental derby as FC Fanyuba lock horns with the Nazi Millionaires. It will be the Anambra Warriors versus Atlanta FC of Owerri. Jigawa Golden Stars would face Kano Pillars, and Lobby Stars versus Kwara United. Olukoya Boys from FMFC would welcome Wiki Tourists to the Agege Township Stadium, and Plateau United would face Warri Wolves right there in Gombe, the Pantami Stadium. Rivers United would, they would face Katsina United at the Adoke Amesimaka Stadium. And the last game of the weekend would see Sunshine Stars doing battle with Abia Warriors. All right, Priya, to you. Kano Pillars are close on the chase of Aqua United. They have been chasing them, and it feels like if Aqua United makes a single slip, Kano Pillars could just be the team usurping them. They are going to be up against Jigawa Golden Stars. Jigawa Golden Stars have not been too convincing. They are 16th on the table with 30 points. But you look at the last time they won a game was back in May when the league just resumed. They won that one against Lobby Stars 2-1 at their home stadium. Some teams have gone to that ground to pick up some points. We saw Wiki Tourists pick up a point. We saw Abia Warriors pick up a point as well. Dakar FC picked up a point. Do you think Kano Pillars would be able to pick all 3 points in this case? Because I believe Aqua United also picked up a point when they faced Jigawa Golden Stars. Do you think Kano Pillars can take all 3 points when they face this team?
There's a huge possibility of Aqua United, Kano Pillars doing this, because, come on, and it's more like the northern and